companion. And the lead story here: confusion in Brekum as traditional council enforces century-old taboo. Now, if you read the story, which is on page 3 of the Mirror, it says that a decision by the Brekum Traditional Council, BTC, in the Bono region to enforce a century-old taboo that forbids the rearing of goats in Brekum has sparked confusion among citizens of the area. The move by the council, the Spectator gathered, was to appease a river god, Esuokra, in the area, which is said to be angry with the traditional authorities for allowing the taboo to be defiled. The issue has since gone viral on social media, attracting varying views and concerns. In December 2023, the Traditional Council announced the enforcement of the taboo, which led to the killing of many stray goats before and during the performance of the funeral burial rites of the late Omanhene of Brekum Traditional Area, Dasibre Diwo II. Okay, so that's the story there. This story has been in the news for some time now, and I think that it is hard time that the national security architecture get involved into this, because I remember that there's a man who says his whole enterprise has been destroyed because of this directive and because of this age-old tradition. I think that there's a need to go into this and resolve it. Anyway, so the other story on the front page of The Spectator, Adiza Sadiq changing the narrative among women in Zongo communities. And every time I see a story about women who are empowering other women, it attracts my attention. And so this story says that in a typical Zongo Muslim community, women proudly settle to become homemakers, with men usually absolute breadwinners of the family and calling all the necessary shots. However, Adisa Ibrahim Sadiq, an astute business executive, is set to change the narrative by empowering Zongo girls to take up the challenge of venturing into the working space, attaining financial freedom, and just like men, supporting their families. Story goes on to say that the idea is not to transfer power into the hands of women, but rather make them resourceful to support their families and communities at large. Adiza Ibrahim, head of marketing and media relations manager at Electroland Ghana Limited, founded the Zongo Women Livelihood and Empowerment Program with the aim of providing skills for young girls to gain a source of livelihood and not relegate to the kitchen. According to her, the financial liberation of women will help them to do better, improve upon their self-esteem, and position themselves to take up leadership roles. And so, yes, that is Adiza Ibrahim Sadiq over there, empowering women in her community. So congratulations to you, Madam Ibrahim Sadiq. You are doing God's work, and we encourage you to continue. So there are designs for the new year. For the ladies who are looking for new designs for clothing, page 23 of The Spectator is the place to go, because Spectator has found it necessary to bring you some designs. Okay, so let's go to Graphic, which has also made the stance today. Graphic says that truth and accuracy every day. And some of the things they are reporting today: December in GH hikes up Xmas fever. And this story is actually recapping all the things that have happened during the just gone by Christmas season, and talking about how that the celebrations that took place from Singatons to all the others have helped shape the narrative as far as the celebration of Christmas here in our country is concerned. And so it says that without a shadow of doubt, Ghana has solidified its position as the place to go for those seeking ultimate Christmas experience. Once confined to family bond and local revelry, December in Ghana has undergone a transformative evolution with the introduction of associated tourism packages. So the initiative has not only breathed a new life into the traditional festive season, but has turned what was once a local celebration into a global one. So the story on the front page continues on page 5 of the Daily Graphic, if you pick a copy of it. And so page 5 continuation says that, okay, so the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority said the 2023 December in GH festivities recorded extraordinary success and brought in substance economic gains to the country. So the rest of the story, the 5th page of Daily Graphic is a place to go. The other story here is, let our laws work to stop corruption. Let our laws work to stop corruption. Togbe Apatamia to citizenry. And so this story comes with Togbe with the former President John Mahama during an activity. That's where Togbe is said to have said what is recorded on the front page of the Daily Graphic. So let's quickly take a look at the Daily Guide, which will be our last paper. Now, the Daily Guide says that the first story, Samira Sewa others shine in Kente. And story is actually on page 9 of the Daily Guide newspaper. So it says that during the commissioning of the Bongre Kente Museum on January 10, 2024, prominent Ghanaian female figures graced the event in breathtaking Kente styles, adding a touch of elegance to the occasion. The ceremony, led by Second Lady Samira Bawumia, Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah, Deputy Minister for Tourism and Arts and Culture Mark Okreku Mante, and Chief of Bongre Nana Ansa II, showcased not only cultural heritage but also a display of fashionable Kente ensembles. The event's moderator Sewa Amehie turned heads with her classy outfit. She also adored in a vibrant neo-green Kente cloth. So the story goes on to say that her straight long gown featured a beaded pattern at the top, complemented by a neo-green scarf and a stylish wristwatch. Okay, so this is quite some details. The Second Lady, Mrs. Samira Bawumia, graced the occasion in a regal blue, purple, and yellow Kente cloth, elegantly draped with a much royal blue scarf. Okay, so the rest of the details are on the 9th page of the Daily Guide. You grab a copy, you get to know about this issue of Kente. So Otumfuo distills Offenso Queen Mother, and that story is on page 3. The Offenso Queen Mother is on record to have opposed or sought to install a new chief following the passing of the Offenso Mahine, and it looks like it has attracted the displeasure of the Asantehene. Forthwith, the Asantehene has actually installed a new chief and has gone ahead to distool the Queen Mother. So, unfortunate development there for the Queen Mother of Offenso. However, it is the decision of the overlord of the Ashanti Kingdom, the Asantehene. There's very little anybody can do about that. I never said Akufo-Addo was in my pocket. And guess who is talking? It is Kwesi Nyantakyi. Kwesi Nyantakyi is the former GFA president. GFA is the Ghana Football Association. And the story by Gabriel Abdul Razak says that former president of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi, has finally broken his silence on claims he said he had President Akufo-Addo in his pocket while trying to woo foreign investors. The suspended football administrator has publicly denied the widespread falsehood that he had the president in his pocket, as alleged in Anas Arimia Anas number 12 expose. Mr. Nyantakyi, in an interview with Bolare on Star Chat on Accra-based Star FM, said, "I never said that," referring to the statement which has both the president and the former GFA boss vilified by a cross-section of the of Ghanaians at the time. Anas released the number 12 expose in June 2018 with Ghanaians from all walks of life trooping to the conference center to watch it. The investigative piece, which caught Mr. Nyantakyi in the web, covered the 2012 Commonwealth Games, 2014 World Cup in Brazil, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, GFA, the Ghana Football FA Cup, as well as the Women's League. So the work, which initially focused on football matters in the country, eventually diverted to politics, or diverted to political and investment matters, as the GFA boss tried to convince the investors he had he had what it took to influence the business community in the country. So the story goes on and on and on, and essentially Mr. Nyantikyi is saying that he never said he had the president in his pocket. Okay, so last two stories here. MP-MC clash over East Gonja project, and you have Hajia Zuira Mohammed Ibrahima, who is said to be the MP, and then Richard Boni are said to be clashing. I don't think you should be clashing over a project in East Gonja. You should be looking at doing more projects for the people of Gonja. Anyway, the last story here: Supreme Court won't decide 2024 elections, and story is attributed to John Dramani Mahama. He is a former president of our republic. So the story by Ernest Kofi Edu says that flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has stated the Supreme Court will not decide the 2024 presidential elections since he will win at the polling stations. According to him, there will be no need to contest the outcome of the presidential elections in court, indicating that the election will be determined at polling stations and collation centers around the country, which is the NDC's goal. I am not going to the Supreme Court because I know I am not going to lose. Maybe the person will be going to the Supreme Court. So maybe that person will be going to the Supreme Court. The election is going to be decided at the polling station and the collation center, and that's where the NDC is going to be, he said to Jijo in the Volta region. So the ex-president, who is staging a comeback for the presidency, was addressing NDC supporters yesterday. So as part of his building the Ghana we want tour. Okay, so story goes on and on and on the front page of in fact on the third page of the Daily Guide, and it is about the former president. Now, if you look at almost all the newspapers we have today, on the back pages of those newspapers is the fact that there's going to be the African Cup is starting today, and Ghana is participating in that process. And so if you look behind the mirror, it says that AFCON stars to watch, and so it puts up the names of various stars from various places. And so you have Victor Osimhen, is the Nigerian. You have Mohamed Kudus, who's a Ghanaian. You have Mohamed Salah, who is an Egyptian. You have Sebastian, who is an Ivorian. You have Seydou Mani, who's a Senegalese. And you have Andre Onana, who is a Cameroonian. So these are the stars that the Mirror is saying we should be watching out for in the coming football fiesta, if we can say so. So indeed, the time is now. Black Stars, and that story is on the back page of the Spectator. So Spectator Sports, it comes with some of the Black Star players, all of them dressed in rich kente. That is the way they decided to arrive in Ivory Coast in their kente instead of the traditional suit and tie we used to see them do some time back. So this time around they went the kente style. So the pictures here: Andre Dede Ayew is there. You have Ali Dusedu also there. Jonathan Soa is there. Baba Idrisu. You have Semenyo is also there. Dennis Odoi is there. And then Alexander Jiku is also there. So that's how the back page of the Mirror is looking like. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, all eyes on Ghana as AFCON kicks off today. And it comes to the picture of Kudus Mohammed, who is a member of Ghana's Black Star squad. And it's a whole story there about the AFCON. If you take a copy of the graphic, you should be able to read it. And then behind the Daily Guide, I don't see the AFCON story, but I see Barcelona director Hill Kempon Academy and some others. Okay, $1 billion spent on hosting AFCON 2023. $1 billion. That's what the Daily Guide Sports is saying behind it. All right, so that's how the papers are looking like. We take a quick breather. When we are back, I will introduce my guest, and we'll begin the conversation on the issues that are up for discussion today. My name is Wilberforce Sari. You're on Asasi Radio here in Accra. It is 99.5 in Kumasi. It's 98.5 in Cape Coast. It's 100.3, and in Tamale it is 99.7. Stay tuned. We are back shortly.
What I am planning next. I want to start my postgraduate degree, buy a car, and
that would be kings and queens. They have journeyed through times and seasons, faced challenges and obstacles, and through it all, they have come out stronger and better. With them, they have carried the African spirit and brought to life the African dream of greatness. For discoveries and great strides they have made. In a world where the African may not naturally be the first option, what has aided them in breaking boundaries and stereotypes?
4 exciting moments of enlightenment with great African leaders. Join us on Sunday night, this and every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Asasi Radio. Sunday night, the iconic encounter.
Greetings, massive! My name is King Legacy, the 7-star general, the host of Yard Settings. Yard Settings on Asasi Radio nationwide. Check out the new update. Saturday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We bring you Asasi Yard Settings Jam. Play you the best in reggae, bringing you my top 10 reggae hits, and also touching base with you via the phone lines to check out the vibes, how it is like out there. Sunday, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. We'll bring you the Echo Chamber news, the happenings in the reggae dancehall and sound system culture world. Also the Legends Corner, where we sit and reason with the artists, both yard and foreign. Yard settings, style a style, and style can't spoil. Yard settings to the world.
It's when reggae music play. What a way the dance all changed. Yet we still go by dancing way.
The Forum is your weekend political and current affairs show. And today, Nick Bakpo Samoa Ado is actually the first person to arrive in the studio. And so he's making so much noise. And I don't understand.
I am going to attack the first topic. I'm going to speak first, 30 minutes, uninterrupted.
So, Nick, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
And thank you for coming first.
Yes.
Is it a new feature for the new year?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Mr. Joshua, good morning to you as well.
I cannot be talking. Let me finish my first contribution.
I have to
I'm
introduce...
going to have the first bite.
Yes, but I have to introduce everybody who is present.
And announce, Fatih is the last person coming to the studio. Announce it.
Mr. Joshua. Morning.
What do you class as first?
Hey, please.
Anyway, good morning to our listeners.
Fatih is the last person.
So he was first to enter the studio.
No, who was first to enter the building?
No, he cannot.
That I can't
He was the last to come in.
It's a lie.
Fatih came first. I came second. He came last.
He cannot be allowed to speak.
It's just that he quickly
I am
jumped.
going to have the first bite on the program.
It's just that he quickly jumped out of his car. Started rushing
I'm going
here.
to have the first bite on the first topic. And I'm going to talk for 30 minutes uninterrupted. When I finish, you give them five minutes.
Okay.
You see,
No.
I've been here since 8.
Yeah, no, I saw your car back there.
Why did he enter the studio and start the program? Don't even start. Jack, Mamu Fasamba, I am speaking for 40 minutes uninterrupted.
You're here.
Very
From
good.
30 to 40.
Yes. Morning number 2 minutes.
Okay, so good morning to you, and let me welcome Hajia Fatima to Abubakar. She's the Deputy Minister for Information. Good morning to you, madam.
Good morning.
And thank you very much for coming.
Missing today.
So I had to.
The man is in Switzerland.
No.
From Switzerland to this thing. I was on first class. He was flying first class. Emirates.
This
I
is
have
defamatory.
evidence.
This is defamatory. This is a lawyer who is making defamatory comments.
But you need to sue me.
And he's making defamatory comments right on radio. Mr. Joshua, so I had to take care of some family business.
We see the man. Yes.
No,
of
family
course.
business.
Switzerland.
So, in and out of town. Family business.
Abroad is part of the
Sure.
town.
So you
But
know.
I must say,
Yes.
Philip has done a fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And I watched every edition
Yes.
of the forum.
In Switzerland.
Yes.
No, where am I?
I'm telling you, why you don't believe me? Oh,
Okay, so today we have 3 topics we are
we have to
discussing.
add AFCON.
Oh yes, we'll talk about AFCON. Is the last topic we are talking about. Yes, it's not on the list, but we are going to talk about Black Stars because they are going into a tournament. But we are quickly going to deal with this new Africa Convention matter. We
Yes.
don't intend to spend so much
30
time on
minutes
that.
uninterrupted.
And then we will deal with the trending economic issues, and then we will make time to talk about power issues. So economic and power issues are literally intertwined. So we'll try and mix them together. And then we'll also talk about AFCON. If you are listening to us on Facebook, you are on Assassin99.5. I invite you to share our page and to tell a friend that the forum, your favorite weekend event or program, is airborne, and we need you to join in. Send us your message, your comments about the topics that are up for discussion. We'll be minded to
And
read
all my
of them.
fans. I'm in the studio, so
yes.
some of them normally join in.
Did me send you the caricature?
Which is caricature?
You haven't seen it?
No.
You haven't seen it?
No. What caricature is that?
That was 2015.
So read it.
Okay. All right. I'm being shown something. Hey, something. Kumi, I'll read it. That's what we are talking about. Okay. Okay. So because there's a lady in our mix, we'll do ladies first.
David Mbaso.
Okay. Let's deal with New
fire
Papo
first. Yes.
So we are talking about the new Africa.
Because we need to know the official government position. That's
No,
what is true.
let's talk about.
No, we need to know what happened so that it will be fair, because a lot of it is speculation. You understand? So
exactly why I was going to go.
We need government next. Then
exactly why I was going to.
10 minutes.
So we needed that
The one who
clarification.
counts first.
Please keep coming late. Please keep coming late.
He's hijacking the show. The first time coming first. He's hijacking everything. Unbelievable. Okay, so Hajia, you need to just bring us up to speed with what you know as far as this issue is concerned from government perspective.
Over first, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, madam.
And to Nee and Uncle John Toy and all your cherished listeners.
She's actually preparing her handover notes. She told me. She started working very hard at them.
Don't mind me.
She's very honest. So she tells us, Wakache said
What I also
outgoing.
realized this holiday
One of that
is
is that she also to be addressed as the outgoing deputy minister.
It's all right. You will not speak anymore.
the job they ground. You know, over the holiday period, I realized that some people, I had conversations, and people seem to enjoy this panel so much. It hadn't come to my attention. So I said, then when some friends read out, I said, next time when I come to the studio, I will raise that and commend
it's a family.
Yourself and the full complement of the panel for always making time for this weekend exercise. So with the New Africa Convention cancellation, or as announced by the New Africa Convention that government has cancelled their 2024 convention, which they expected to take place at Black Star Square last week. Okay, so what happened? To the best of my knowledge and the documents that I've had the benefit of looking at, the New Africa Convention never reached out to the government household or office of the president to acquire permission to use the Black Star Square for the purpose of this convention that they organized. There was an application to the government household through the Diaspora Affairs requesting to use the Black Star Square for the Black Star Line Music Festival. This is a festival that I have personally attended before. The first one, which was organized in January 2023 by Vic Mensa and Chance the Rapper from US. I was there from beginning to end, so I can even take you through the lineup, which comprised of both Ghanaian and American artists. From US, there was T-Pain, Erykah Badu, Jeremy, Chance the Rapper, and Vic Mensa, who has his roots in Ghana. There were also all the popular names within the Ghanaian hip life and high life and Afrobeat space. So what happened this year? The Black Star Line Festival, as we know it, you know, since the president introduced the year of return in 2019 and beyond the return in 2020, it has generated a lot of buzz for Ghana, especially in December, which some also term as Dirty December. A lot of music and art shows, including Afro Nation, Afrochella, Dirty Rave, all the raves, all the lands, Wilder Lands, and all of those events. And Black Star Line Festival is one of those events. It's good because the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture and the Ghana Tourism Authority usually give a lineup for the Christmas festivities. And as you are aware, in 2022-2023, they even added a visa on arrival or visa-free window for all those who are coming for Dirty December between.
Honorable Minister, why can't we have this visa on arrival as a permanent feature of our system?
It's a work in progress. We've seen the reward. We've seen the reward. It's a work in
Rwanda
progress.
is doing it.
But let's commend them for even starting it and helping boost the tourism sector in that period. So this is what has been going on over the period. So when the Black Star Line reached out to Jubilee House through the diaspora affairs, of course, they are recognized as one of the major events within the Christmas period on the calendar, which is announced by the Ministry of Tourism. So they were so granted to have the Black Star Line Festival at the Independence Square.
Just one thing. Are you saying they didn't apply?
No, they didn't apply. No. New Africa Foundation never applied to. They themselves have not shown any letter anywhere that they apply to use the Black Star Square for their convention. You know, when we talk about the Independence Square or the Black Star Square, we are not talking about Manchagbona or Kaokudi Park. No, this is a national monument, and as such, if you need to use it for any reason, it is important that you put government on notice. The events that are organized there with tens of thousands of people participating, it costs the state maybe up to $1 million to mobilize the full complement of our security of the state to go there to protect the numbers, including the police, the military, national security, and whatever security and intelligence team they can have on the ground. So mobilization for events at the Black Star Square exceed your 10,000 token or 30,000, whatever quotation you may have to state that you want to use a place. That being said, I am not saying that if you are a political organization or NGO and you have a concept or desire to use the Black Star Square, you cannot apply to government household to use it. You can use it. But this is a situation whereby a permit was granted for the Black Star Line Music Festival. Black Star Line announced through their organizers that this year they were not going to do it. So meaning automatically whatever rights that they had accrued by writing for permission and paying for the venue and all that had extinguished. The rights they had left was maybe to write back to Jubilee House that I want to come and collect my money because the event that I had wanted to organize at the place, I couldn't do it this year. Now, it is public knowledge for all the stakeholders within the entertainment industry was that the Black Star Line Festival was not going to take place. Then I was at this program, New Media Association Ghana launch at the number 1 Oxford Street. When I heard that they were going to organize a convention at the Independence Square or Black Star Square, and then government cancelled it, I was like, okay, no, this is unusual. If it's because it's a political organization, of course, any political organization. How many political parties do we have in Ghana? They are uncountable in their tens. If we can make room for Afrafranto, you think we cannot make room for any force that you want to bring? Of course. It doesn't change anything.
Where does that come in?
No, I am saying that the impression post the events, the founder of the New Africa Foundation, Mr. Bediako, was I can't remember his first name.
He has a lot of names.
Yes, Nana Kwame Bediako has come out to hold a press conference, seems to suggest that he had everything under the control, creating the impression that the government had approved and given them permits to organize the program there and have gone ahead to cancel it. When the notice came to government that there was not going to be a Black Star Line Festival this year, they had made some contingency arrangement for some security agencies to use the space on that day. So it turned out that the application that was put in for the Black Star Line Festival was done with the intent to fraudulently misrepresent to government that we are going to have a music festival. But by the time you realize It is a whole different program
Okay.
that they are having at the place.
So, Minister, let me just interrupt a little
Yes.
bit. In your submission, you mentioned that the music festival
Yes.
was cancelled.
Yes.
At what point was it cancelled?
The since October or November, the spokespersons had written on their various social media handles that it wasn't going to take place.
Okay. So then the obvious question for me then is that why is it that as at 7th, which was the day that the festival was
Yes.
supposed to take place,
Yes.
there was still that notion that the festival was coming on, and that the new nation, the new Africa convention was hiding behind it. Because see, if as far back as October, the music festival was cancelled, then it means that as at the 7th, we knew that there was not going to be anything called that festival.
Let me explain this to you. The festival, the organizers had spoken out and said, they were unable to pull it off this year. That does not mean they officially wrote to the Ghana or the government's household or Jubilee House household that they had cancelled the event. I am on social media. I'm within the information sector. I am actively involved. But for some of those people who are not on social media, they can only respond to official communications. That is why, of course, even if they had heard somewhere, because they have paid for the venue, you have to wait until the D-Day before you will know whether it will take place or not. So that is exactly what happened. That being said, I believe if the New Africa Foundation or New Force Africa or whatever the name is, if they had written as of right that we are this political or non-profit organization and we want to organize a convention and invite some dignitaries from across the continent to come and speak to the youth of Ghana, and the household registry had approved, I don't think this would have been an issue. But the mere fact that this New Force Africa is notorious for continuous fraudulent misrepresentation. And let me give you an example. This is the same organization which was in court because their spokesperson, a Belgian, lied to the Ghana immigration that she was coming to school at Christian Service University. It turned out from the records of the university that she has never been a student. She is nowhere found on their records. They just did some forgery and ways and means just to deceive the immigration service to acquire those permits. If you seek to lead this country but have no respect for the laws of this country and think that because I have proximity or exposure in the West and because I have money, I can just come to Ghana and do things anyhow and set that precedent that, laws here don't work. Even when you cheat the system, they never get to find out. We won't allow that to happen because we have the responsibility to protect the law and order and security and safety of the citizens. So if this convention had taken place on the blind side of national security, government, and everybody, and something had happened on ground, it would be too late to come and say that they didn't even ask for permit. We didn't know anything about the event. So let us begin by holding ourselves accountable and saying that I ought to do the right thing. If there is a laid down procedure as of right, let me follow those processes, acquire the necessary permit, do my advertisement. You can have your billboards with a mask on. But this, if you are officially communicating to government to have access to a national monument, you have to come properly and come the right way.
Okay, so the next question I'm asking is that I don't recall, and I stand to be corrected by all the learned people who are here, that the Independence Square, which is that symbolic national monument, has been used by a single political establishment for a political activity. I don't recall any of such.
Not that I am aware of either, but yes. I also don't know whether it's against the law to use such spaces.
Which one was that?
Declaration of Independence.
Okay, so that is the far back Kwame Nkrumah's time. Okay, but apart from that, I don't recall that. I've seen political parties use the Accra Sports Stadium to do their elections and all that. But the Independence Square, you know, as an establishment, we use it for our Independence Day celebration. I've seen churches using it for church services like ICGC. Even this past 31st night, ICGC used it. I've seen Women's Aglow holding their activities there. Our Muslim brothers and sisters, I've seen them Eid, performing their Eid there at the Independence Square. But I've not seen the NDC or the MPP using that facility as a venue for political activity. I haven't seen some before. Even under the Fourth Republic, I have no record of that.
Let me ask you. Sorry.
Oh, please go ahead.
The convention.
Okay. I'm told that ICGC didn't use it for the past 31st. Okay. I saw some images. I thought it was the Independence Square, but they've used it for several conventions in the past. Okay. Yes,
as a point of clarity, the convention, was it a political act?
So the new nation.
Yes. Was it a political act?
So what we do know is that
because you're saying you've never seen it used as a political.
Yes.
I need to clarify. The convention, conference, or whatever is going on, was it political?
So from all indications, the understanding we have is that there were a group of people who were invited by the New Africa Convention, as it were, to come and speak at the convention. And the man in question, the subject matter, which is the Kwame Bediako, we are told was using that opportunity to launch his political career.
We were told by who?
By his assigns.
Because before he came to indicate that he was the man behind the mask, we didn't know who it was. Well, officially.
Yes, but he had indicated that even before, at least I got to know that before the day of the convention. And then subsequently, when it was cancelled, he actually held a press conference.
Yes, that was
and it is in the press conference he said that he was interested in.
So that turned it to a political act.
Exactly. And it was at the press conference that he indicated so.
And let me add one more thing. At the press conference, he indicated that he is the man behind the mask. But he couldn't have invited these dignitaries that we are coming for this kind of, I am a politician, I have this ambition, and I'm inviting. That's his words. I believe if you are able to get any of those videos in circulation to play, you will get the
so
actual,
my producers will try and look
context.
For that particular press conference that he granted. And if there's any doubt, we will play that press conference. Yes. Haja.
So those were his words, not mine. But I'm saying I'm not sure if it was a political event. They are barred from organizing it at the Black Star Square. That is not the contention here. The contention here is that the presidential household is taxed with the responsibility of overseeing this national monument. If you want to use it for any reason whatsoever, write on your organization's letterhead, I am this organization in Ghana. You are entitled. You are guaranteed the freedom of association under the Constitution, which is our GRUNOM. Nothing beats that. Whatever you want to do, you can do it, even if it was a demonstration, so long as it does not go against the law. But write properly on your letterhead and send it to the presidential household for them to grant you the permission to hold it. The moment you start with fraudulent misrepresentation, people begin to ask questions. What else are you hiding? That is the contention.
And I hear that you lawyers say fraud vitiates all.
Yes, because if you are lying about one thing, using Black Star Line letterhead, using Black Star Line to as a decoy to apply to use a venue, and Black Star Line is distinct. It's a music festival. They come there to sing and dance and play music and then just go away. But you were seeking to organize an event, bring some known political commentators and speakers from across the continent to come and make political statements. Use that to launch your campaign or ambition, or to tell people that you are the man behind the mask and you are seeking to be the president of this country. And as he puts it, he is the savior who is coming to save the country. I mean, It is only proper.
I like the expression of Mr. Jantua's face when you said that.
Yeah, because that's what he said. He said,
I wish I could
savior.
interpret the expression.
Yes. So if you are the savior, you have to start by respecting the law, making sure you are doing things properly. If you do not believe in the country or the youth of this country, then I don't understand what you are seeking to do.
Indeed. Mr. Nigwapo, it's your turn now. I know you said you wanted 40 minutes, but we can't give you 40 minutes because we have to move to the next topic. But it is your turn to bring your perspective to this particular issue and how you view it, especially from the perspective of your political party.
You see, one of the metrics of good governance and the political maturity and the level of democratic space for open discussion and debate is the ability of parties, dissenting voices, opposition voices, and what have you, to freely associate, to freely assemble, to freely discuss, and to have the space and time and ability to engage in vigorous political activity without any form of interference from the sitting government or from those in authority. That is one of the marks and the things that are used to whether your democracy is growing or whether you are having some form of tyrannical rule or some form of curtailing of democratic rights and space. I'm not one who has been much impressed about this particular government's appetite and tolerance for dissenting political opinion. And it's sad when it's under the presidency of someone who has been touted as the father of human rights in this country, because a lot of us growing up admired the advocacy of President Nana Akufo-Addo when it came to issues of human rights, issues of the fight for politics. And look, as law students, if you look at our constitutional law under the Fourth Republic, he has a special place when it comes to the cases that actually took down some of the most draconian laws and opened up the space legally for some of the things we enjoy today. For example, he's part of the team that fought the case in respect of the fact that you don't need a permit to demonstrate in this country. At first, that was the law, that before you could demonstrate, you needed a police permit. And in fact, let me just even move beyond the personal person of the president and say the MPP tradition. Between 1992 and 1996, and okay, let me 1992 to 2000, a lot of the things that we enjoy today by way of political space and activity was as a result of the activism of the MPP. And the records are there. The right of an opposition party to have equal time to speak on national TV and radio was from the MPP. The fact that you don't need, as I said, the permit to be able to demonstrate was from the MPP. The freedom of association, SIBA, MPP, SIBA, the SIBA case, where the then government were forcing people to join the SIBA association. It was the MPP that went to court. MPP and GBC, when they were not allowed equal time on GBC to argue about the budget, it was the MPP. So when it comes and you come into power, we expect higher standards. What have we seen? This particular president and the government have retrogressed when it comes to the ability to open up the space.
So linking that to the events that have unfolded with the New Africa Convention.
I feel very passionate about this because as a student of law, when I look at the history, I keep asking myself, what have we done wrong? What has gone wrong? Is it the trappings of power that has changed our president? Because it is unimaginable that under the presidency of President Nana, when you want to demonstrate, the police go to court and get injunctions to prevent you from demonstrating. This government has had a systematic approach. Every single time anyone wants to demonstrate, they go to court. The police have now a certain, what do you call it, formula. Vomawa and his group wanted to demonstrate in December in front of the Flagstaff. Under this government, they went to court to get an injunction. For 1 whole month, they won't allow them to demonstrate. It is a record. Go through the entire, but when they are in opposition, vote, let my vote count. They get the opportunity. The people that demonstrated in front of the Flagstaff House when it came to, what do you call it, this group, they demonstrated on the 6th of March when the NDC was in power. They were allowed to go in front of the Flagstaff House. It wasn't, see, why? What is the name of this man's group?
I was there, so I know.
So they didn't go, they didn't, no, I'm talking about the Flagstaff, in front of the Flagstaff House.
Yes, we were never allowed.
Which group is he talking about?
Occupy Ghana.
Okay.
They were not, they didn't go through the Flagstaff House.
No.
They didn't pass in front of the Flagstaff. They didn't present a petition. They didn't present a petition.
I will show you.
No, wait.
The,
did they
the
present a
two
petition?
people who presented
So
the
did they
petition
present? Did
and
they
where
present a
it was
petition? See, the thing is this:
they were never
the
allowed to
MPP should be the last party, and the MPP government should be the last government that we should be pointing a finger at when it comes to not opening the space up.
No, but this is not a demonstration. This issue we are talking about is not a demonstration.
I'm talking about a larger picture when it comes to enhancing democratic culture. And I'm telling you that when it comes to this party, this is the party that actually fought for opening up the space. Criminal libel law, which minister was the one that took it down? It was the president.
Sorry, can I ask you?
Yes.
In the 8 years,
yes,
how many demonstrations
Thank you.
have been shut down?
It's uncountable. In fact, this group
have they been shut down or?
No, you see, there has been an orchestration of the use of state apparatus to ensure that these demonstrations do not go on.
Or no, is it not go on or to be done appropriately?
Oh, my friend.
Because there've been demonstrations.
Listen, I'm telling you that, listen, when it comes to deepening democratic culture, okay, you are talking about the culture, you are talking about the president and a party that prides itself in being the ones to open up governance. So under his watch, I am even expecting that we will have more demonstrations. The space, see, there's a difference between a government that does not have a record. And I would say the NDC does not have that record. We came from a revolutionary background. So if we are not the apostles of opening up democratic space, but we are deemed to be more tolerant when we are in power, as opposed to this government that is supposed to have a culture and a tradition of being the libertarians. They are the ones who uphold libertarian values. What has been the record? It has been appalling. And in an election year, for that matter, when it comes to an election year, you must be seen to actually open up the space.
Okay, so because of time, I want you to link it to the
I'm coming
convention.
to the point. I'm saying that, you see, whatever these people's intention were, if you don't give me evidence that they were planning a coup, there was a national security threat. If you tell me that there was a national security threat, that the gathering of this group, whatever it was, there was a national security threat, and therefore there was valuable intelligence, there was actionable intelligence that made it incumbent that they should not be allowed there, I will understand. But these people gave receipts. They have shown receipts. You haven't denied the fact that there were receipts showing that they had paid for the venue.
Who has shown the receipts?
Chada has shown the receipts. He showed it on TV.
A receipt from his organization from the music
office.
festival.
Did we have the office of the president cancelling did you see the title of the letter? There has been an official communique from the office of the president saying that it was cancelling the event and that they should come for a refund of their money.
But the office of the president memo you saw was from the chief director.
Yes.
Addressed to the officer who is at the diaspora office.
It
was not addressed to New Africa Convention.
No, hold on. What was the title of the memo? Read the title of the memo.
I thought it was
pull up the title
of. Okay, yes.
Pull up the title of the memo.
I read it. I have it.
Yes, sir.
Pull it up. Read it.
Office of the President, reference number OP/PH/02, 7th January 2024. Revocation of permit.
Yes.
Okay, that's why we are not hearing you. We are not hearing you.
Okay.
Yes.
Revocation of permit. Request to use Black Star Square for the Black Star Line Festival.
Yes. Revocation of permit. Listen,
No,
if you
it is
hold on.
the Black Star Festival. It's extremely important.
Listen,
Key.
listen.
It's key.
Listen.
Miss-
If you
yes.
tell me that you were revoking the permit because they use fraudulent means to acquire the permit, state it. Let us know that these people use fraudulent means to acquire the permit, and so you are informing Ghanaians that based on the fraud, charge them to court.
Okay,
Let us know that they told you that they were using the place for A. You later on realized that there were other things they were using it for. Because of that, you are charging them to court for fraud.
But you do know the problem. The problem for me, and I stand to be corrected by you, the problem for me is that Black Star Line is the one that sought for permission. And then Black Star Line had decided that they would not do the event. Long ago, they had decided that the event won't come on. However, their registration and payment was still pending because they had not written to the authority that they got the permission from that we no longer are going to go on. Meanwhile, New Africa Convention had planned their event in the name of the permission that has been granted to Black Star
Is that
Line.
the official position?
Well, that is what is
You
the
see,
that's what the picture is
hold
looking
on,
like.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. You see, when you have ulterior motive, when your intention is not pure, when you are, that is not the real reason why you want to do something, you will be caught pussyfooting. You will give one release, then you come back and correct the release, then you come back and recorrect the release. Look, we are not children. Do you understand? There has been, and you see, there's a history to this. Look at the way the young lady who was the spokesperson.
Your time is nearly
yes,
up.
I'm coming. Who was the spokesperson? Who was the spokesperson for this new force was treated? I have it on authority because the lawyer that represented her is a personal friend. And in conversation, when she was taken to the BNI, the questions that were asked were to deal with political issues. The system wants to find out what is this new force. What is it about?
And is it wrong for the system to do that?
It is not wrong for our intelligence officials to want to. But you see, my problem, and that is the fundamental question I ask: has this government promoted and opened up the space for democratic debate when it comes from a culture that says that the values, look at the things that they treasure most, Bussia's principles, freedom of speech, human rights, all these are the things that they tout. These are the things that they have fought for. These are the things that we know them for. Then when you give them power, you see their true colors.
Okay, so is there a record of, and this is the last question I'm asking, is there a record of New Africa Convention led by Kwame Bediako applying to use the Independence Square for their convention?
My point is this.
No, I want that question answered because the New Africa Convention, as an organization, did they apply to use the Independence Square?
As a Ghanaian, I am appalled, okay, that international visitors are brought in for a convention or whatever. And we cannot just allow this convention or whatever it is. You see, this system, and you see, it is when you look at the history of this government, when it comes to how they treat political agitation, from fix the country, what they've literally done to Vomawo. Read Vomawo's statement of defense, where you have it in respect of the case between himself and the Minister of National Security. Read his
the allegations he made, for which he has been sued for defamation.
Yes, read his defense. Look at the way they've treated these young boys who, the young people who demonstrated when, that was again Vomawo's group, when they did the one at 37 and then they later on went to in front of the Flagstaff House.
When they clashed with the police.
Look at law students who were beating in the streets of Accra under this government. This government's record when it comes to being tolerant of demonstrations and any dissenting opinion is appalling.
So in the event that it was the NDC,
I thought that was the last question.
Yes,
no, but
I need to clarify something from him.
It is a record. It is a record one too many.
Okay, so in the event
and
that it was the NDC,
international.
In the event that it was the NDC who was in power, and Black Star Line had written to the seat of the presidency, that they wanted to do a music festival. They had decided in October that they were cancelling the music festival. Then, a day to the date of the event, a new organization springs up and says that it is holding a political activity.
Yes.
And I use political activity because of the lineup of people who were going to speak.
Correct.
PLO Lumumba is a political
Correct.
activist. Malema is a political outspoken person in South Africa. The lady from Zimbabwe, also very well-known political activist. So in the event that your party was the one in office and you were taken by surprise like this, what would you have done?
Listen,
No.
What is being taken by surprise?
Be-
So tell the Ghanaian people that we are cancelling the program because number one, it's political. We have not been informed. The national security apparatus have not been informed. The national security apparatus feels that it is not comfortable allowing a political activity to take place at the Independence Square. The security apparatus is not comfortable about the fact that this particular group's agenda is unknown. So we need to be clear. Postpone the program. The government has intervened. This was an executive decision simply because for some reason our security apparatus seemed to have been taken by surprise about the issues that were going to take place over there. They later on, and somebody decided that, look, cancel this thing to avoid any form of embarrassment to the government. This particular government is intolerant of political dissent. That is the record.
Just an intervention, yes.
Brief comment that because Uncle Jantua hadn't spoken.
No, Mr. Jantua has spoken.
React when you react.
You haven't spoken about this?
No, he hasn't.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
That's
Okay, I'm sorry.
fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Briefly, Ni has made some statements that I have to correct because I was there. On 16th,
Please come a little bit closer to the mic.
okay,
Yes.
on 16 September 2015, I was at the Let My Vote Count Alliance, where we were beating and hot water was poured on demonstrators, and rubber bullets were fired, and Justice Ajakuma lost his eye. But Dr. Omane Boama at the time said, oh, they have applied some tomato paste just to deceive the public that he lost his eye, who never recovered from his injury and died from it. I was at the same demonstration which led to the death of Frimpong, who never recovered from his head injury until he died. My friends, my actual friends, Arama, were among the 9 victims who suffered from the burns from the hot water that was poured on them. I was there in less than 5 meters from Gabi when he was beaten, almost with the intention of killing him. I was at that demonstration under the NDC. Ni cannot say that the LMVCA and the NDC was allowed. I was the secretary of Let My Vote Count.
I didn't say Let My Vote Count.
Was allowed,
the movement,
and I am
the
saying the Occupied Ghana demonstration. I was part of that demonstration all the way from Children's Park to Flagstaff House.
Yes, you are even allowed there.
No, we were not allowed there.
I am to put a petition.
We were not. Let me give you the
give a petition.
I am showing you where the petition was taken so that you know we're not allowed. In fact, it was raining cat and dog.
Yes.
But they will not even allow us to stand at the bus stop opposite the Flagstaff House, not to get to the gate.
Did you walk in front of the Flagstaff House?
We did not get there.
Did you walk in
they
front of the
redirected us to go and use TV3 and allowed us to stand in front of TV3.
But you were around
no, they did not allow us. So that 2 of the reps from Occupied Ghana were taken to that back gate where the ministry, I said ministry, where the French embassy is.
Yes.
To go in front of that place to present 2 people. The rest of us were blocked between the Netherlands embassy and TV3 because they said Flagstaff House.
We didn't go to court.
A security zone.
But we didn't go to court.
But did you remember that?
Did we go to court?
Hold on.
Did we go to court to stop you?
I am saying that you don't even know. You don't even know that the police had gone to court to get injunction against even Let My Vote Count and other NPP people.
You go for injunctions.
But we cannot talk about one and separate the other.
Have you forgotten about the case between the IGP and Gift Owari Abuaji? Where did we get the precedence that the police cannot say because they cannot protect us? Oh, no. But you are saying we never went to court.
I gave you credit for being the tradition that goes to court to do what? To try and enhance when you are in opposition. When you are in power, then we see your
And
true
I am
colors.
saying that the NDC
did you
does
recall
not have
that?
any better
Did you recall that the NDC has held a demonstration? Not okay. Let me not say the NDC, but the opposition.
Several
My old
has
friend,
held
the Greater Accra regional, former Greater Accra chairman, Mr. Adekoka. Our people were arrested after an election. After an election, we have lost the election. You say you know that kind of beating that when they beat you, they say you don't cry. So you are you don't smile. You don't shout. So that kind of beating is the most painful. You have been beaten. Then when you finish, when the person who is beating you is with the cane by you, he says, you don't cry. No tears will flow from your eyes. Don't make any sound that you are in pain. We have lost an election. We say we want to demonstrate so that we will release our pressure.
No, but that is not.
This
is your argument you are making. How could you let it?
Spoil public property.
Let me give you an example. This party, this MPP party, they lose an election. Then their current president. See, the thing about President Arado is that he doesn't even he has no record of admitting that he's ever lost an election. So when he lost against President Mills, straight away he ran to court. After that, he went to Obrasport. After they had lost the election, they held a rally at Obrasport. That is when they beat the Joy FM crew and all that over there.
You see, this argument you are making.
I'm coming.
It cuts across both sides.
No, I'm coming. Listen, I'm coming.
Yes.
After an election, we NDC have a record of allowing you to go and demonstrate because it's one of the ways of easing out the tensions in the system. You go, you demonstrate, you insult the president Mahama at the time, you call him Julo and all those things. We don't say anything. When we lose an election, you go to the police declare that we cannot demonstrate in Greater Accra between the 7th of December and the 7th of January when the inauguration is going to be held. When we try to demonstrate, you carry our regional chairman and others and send them to court, beat them. This government is the most intolerant government when it comes to demonstration.
So let me come to Mr. Jantua. Let me come to Mr. Jantua.
And the rest like that.
It's okay.
You see, the sad thing is that they do it to both Ghanaians and foreigners.
Hold on.
The intolerance of this particular administration.
I understand the arguments that you are making and the angle from which you are coming. So there's George Ampofo on Facebook who says that this Kwame Bediako is number 1 second version. Ghana should watch out. Maxwell Apia Dankwa is on Facebook again. He says, Wilberforce, can a foreigner be a spokesperson for any political party or a movement in Ghana? And that's a question that Maxwell is asking. What?
The acclaimed Democrat.
Is that answer to the question?
That is you see, as students of law, look, when I was in law school, I took pride in reading about the decision. That's why some of us academians say that the best moments of our Supreme Court was between 1992 and 2000 because of the decisions. Landmark this. Look, if for anybody, President Rawlings, 31st December coup, a court sits and says that 31st December coup cannot be celebrated.
It said it cannot be financed.
No, it cannot be celebrated. You know, that was the debate about letter and spirit was also about the fact that celebrating it was not in consonance with our new democratic.
But it has been celebrated.
Hold on.
31st December has been celebrated listen. All these years.
When you read the reasoning of some of the judges in the majority, their point was even beyond the fact of
financing.
They were talking about the fact that celebrating it does not inculcate in us the values of democracy. My point is this: even when Rawlings, the acclaimed dictator, a military guy, lost that election, he had the self-restraint to allow the processes to go on. This particular government, under a democratic, so-called democratic leader, has shown highest levels of intolerance. It's such a disappointment.
Okay, so let me come to Mr. Jantua. But Mr. Jantua, just before that, let me read these other messages. Good morning, Wilberforce. We, those watching you on Facebook, cannot hear. Hudu, I believe that the hearing, the sound issue has been dealt with by our technical people. If you are still having that challenge, please let me know. But I know it's been dealt with. Thank you for your message. There's Baba Chairman who says that why is Ni doing what he's doing? Speak to the issue and stop the merry-go-round thing you are doing. Bediako and his group never requested to use the Black Star Square to even start with. NI and the NDC must be reminded that the police has always gone to court to stop demonstrations, even under the NDC. What exactly is NI saying? And NI, that is Baba Chairman's message directly to you to answer. Mr. Wilberforce, I wish one day I get the opportunity to watch lawyer Nick Papo in court advocating for his clients. So that is Al Hassan saying that he wants to see how you carry on with your advocacy in court. Mr. Janswa, it's your turn to deal with this matter, and then after that we talk about the remaining issues. In fact, I'll start the remaining 2 issues with you after you have finished your submission on this Bediako and New Africa Convention matter. We are in your hands.
Issues with me.
Yes.
Why?
We are boxing it together.
NI has expressed some of the challenges we have found in our democracy in terms of people expressing themselves, but has failed to line it up with the issue at hand. And
which for me is an interesting observation, because I tried to get him to do that, he never did.
And I must say, the points that NI has given is on both sides of the divide. You've seen it happen on both sides of the divide, and it is wrong. Now let me come to the crux of the matter. Let me go to the letter that I started reading. Revocation of permit. Request to use Black Star Square for the Black Star Line Festival. And I quote, "We write to revoke immediately the permission granted per our letter number OP/PH/02 dated 11th November 2023, which approved your request to use the Black Star Square for the above event. This decision has been necessitated by an unforeseen state event scheduled to take place at the venue. Under the circumstances, the amount of 10,000 Ghana cedis paid by your office for the use of the venue will be refunded. We regret any inconvenience this may cause. Paid by your office." Then it is signed N.M. Wood, Chief Director for Chief of Staff. 2. Deputy Director, Diasporan Affairs, Office of the President. That is the office that is being referred to. Then copy. Chief of State, OOP Jubilee House. Chief of Staff, sorry. OOP Jubilee House. The National Security Coordinator. Director, Diaspora Affairs. Presidential Security Coordinator. Head Accounts Castle. Office in Charge, Press Household. In this copy, where is the new force?
I don't see them mentioned anywhere.
Where is the new
Yes.
force? So, if they are not mentioned here, are we saying the Diasporan Office booked this place on behalf of the new force, or booked it on behalf of Black Star Line, but weren't told what the real reason was for the use of Black Star Line? And this is where the aberration is. When they brought out this letter, they should have also brought out the letter of application for us to see who wrote that letter to engage Independence Square. That wasn't done. So if you come back and you title your request request to use Black Star Square for the Black Star Line Festival, and you do not prove to us the application that came in, then people start saying, why did they do this? Why didn't they do this? Why did they do this? Why didn't they do this? But for Nana Kwame Bediako and his convention, if he had the real intention to apply to use the Black Star Square for the convention, Why didn't he do it outright? Why? Because right now it's making it look as if it was done behind the Black Star Line Festival. That is how it's making it look. And he hasn't been able to come and tell us or show us a letter of application for the use of the Black Star Square. Has he shown us?
I haven't seen it.
Has he shown us?
Ni hasn't seen it.
Madam, has he shown us?
Hajia says she hasn't seen it.
So, what is he basing his argument on? And in putting in his application, if there ever were an application, did he indicate to authorities that at this convention, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people are coming into town to speak? Was that done? Did we see it? Did we know? And so, I don't want to align it. It would probably be wrong to do that. I really did not understand why Nana Bediakon was foxing Ghanaians with a mask. Did not understand. If you want to be a politician, you don't fox Ghanaians with a mask. You come out headstrong. Give reasons why you would want to be president of this country on a billboard with your picture on there. What is there to hide? What is there to hide? So the premise...
Some people say it's a marketing strategy.
What kind of marketing strategy? This is politics. This is politics.
It's not marketing, it's politics.
I said it is politics.
But they say there's marketing inside politics.
Please.
The candidate must be marketed.
Please. The country is not the kind of business that you can play with. Veterans, and our current president is a veteran. It goes to show you that politics is no mean feat. You don't just stand up and think you become a president because you've worn a mask and you've now exposed yourself and you tell people that you want to stand. No, it's not done that way. Not at all. I would have preferred from the word go, the moment he realized this is what I want to do, you come out straight. Get the youth around you. Do your campaigns, do your rallies. If he had had a few rallies, and at these, nobody can stop you from having a rally. You can have a rally at Obrasport, can't you? Mm-hmm. Do a rally. Invite these people that you invited. Let them come in. Tell the youth, this is my intention. These are my reasons. This is what I think Ghana requires. And I want to prove to you that the situation we find in Ghana is also seen in the whole of Africa. So I want to align Ghana to Africa. So I'm having a rally at Obrasport. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people are coming to speak. Do you think we'll be discussing this? At least we'll be discussing the content of that rally, which would add on to our political, if I can use the word, jurisprudence, if I can use that word. So from the word go, you cannot have a contract. The contract is set in stone. And then you come back and say, oh, that is not what I meant. Please revoke. Or please change this one in the... You cannot do that. It's not acceptable. So his first premise, the start of it alone, must put question marks on his intentions. And I think that is wrong.
I think that after his cancellation, he paid a courtesy call on the presidential candidate of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama. We are not told the discussions that were... Are you privy to any of the discussions that went on in that courtesy call?
If you look at the people who lined up, to speak at his event, and if you look at the fact that Obi is seen as the new voice in Nigeria politics.
Seriously?
Yes.
He contested an elections and lost. Since then, nobody has heard of him again.
The only reason why he lost his political miscalculation. If he had done his...
Can I finish?
Alliance... Oh, you haven't finished? I thought you had finished. Let Mr. Jantua finish. Yes. Sorry.
You see, and this is where sometimes I fault our governments. Take advantage. The people who came, who were invited by the new nation, they are people who are Africans and are very outspoken. With the cancellation of this, it was an embarrassment.
Major.
It was embarrassment. The government and its protocol should have quickly seized opportunity to invite them to Flagstaff House. Seize opportunity. Malema, the lady, the South African guy, because they are international people, they are icons. People revere them, people respect them. Invite them, sit them down, explain to them why it's been cancelled for them to understand. Because so far, no government person has explained to those dignitaries why it was cancelled. And if the line that was taken to have this convention wasn't the right line, explain it to them. Let them come and see you as president. My people, you are well-known people in Africa. You cannot come to Ghana for us to just treat you like any other person. So I have invited you as president to explain to you why this was cancelled. And give them the reason. They go back, realizing that the right thing wasn't done. And you heard them.
But on the contrary, if you have this kind of pedigree and you are coming into the country, you have access to the country's embassy in your countries where you are coming. You could go through the protocols and let the country know that you are coming. For example, PLO Lumumba could easily, he is from where? I think Kenya.
No.
Or Zimbabwe, one of them. But if you were coming here, you have the wherewithal to inform the authorities so that courtesies will be extended to you, even arrival at the airport and all those kind of things. Because of the kind of person you are and the kind of positions you occupy, you go through the process. If they did not see it necessary to go through those protocols on coming into the country, why do they spring a surprise here on us and then we must forget about the fact that they didn't do the needful?
They must come and see the true nature of President Anado.
I mean, come on.
Wait. What you are saying is a two-pronged thing. If they were coming on their own accord, then what you're saying makes sense. Who invited them?
They came on their own accord, technically speaking.
They were invited
by an ordinary Ghanaian, an ordinary citizen.
They're invited by ordinary citizen.
See what we are
Wait. They invited. Only when you're talking, I was quiet. They were invited by an ordinary citizen who is interested. Wait.
Did he tell them that they were coming to launch his political career?
We don't know.
Yes, he said he didn't tell them.
He couldn't have told them the reason why they.
Yes.
Oh, are you saying that such important people? So let me give you an example. I go to Trinidad and Tobago, which I work with because of oil and gas, and I happen to see the president. And the president says to me, Mr. Jantua, I would like to come and visit you in Ghana. He's coming to visit me in Ghana. I'm a Ghanaian. He is a high-level person from another country. Don't you think the onus is on me to be able to tell Ghana protocol?
Yes.
That?
Yes.
Wait. To be able to tell Ghana protocol that. I went to Trinidad and Tobago. The president of Trinidad and Tobago is my good friend. He wants to come and visit me. Now, he's coming to visit me. Why? I want to tell protocol so that we can take advantage of it. Please, let the president know that this is happening. Will that not be my responsibility? Is it not the responsibility of Nana Bediako to have done that?
Exactly so. That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point that is being made.
No, but this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying that it isn't the responsibility of the if I can call them the panelists who were coming to the convention to have done that. It is the responsibility of Nana Bediako. In fact, if he had gone down that line, and made it official, and stopped this mask small boy thing he was doing, and told people that this is what I'm doing, these are people I'm bringing, I have notified the president, I've notified XYZ, it have been something big, wouldn't it have been?
Okay, so Mr. Atwa,
but that wasn't done.
Unfortunately, we cannot continue with this topic because time is done.
Let me give you a
yes.
small, just 1 minute example. You see how esteemed and beautiful our deputy minister is, Fati. Then I want to see whether Fati's beauty is the same in the morning as she has come to sit here. I will visit her at dawn to see
without informing her.
Without informing her to see whether when she opens the gate.
I will open my gate for you.
In the makeup, there's makeup or there's no makeup.
Why would I open my gate?
I will open my gate for you.
My gate for you.
When you want to see the true beauty of somebody, you go and visit them unannounced.
Really?
And the thing is, every time people are out there, their impression about President Adado,
stop joking.
This government
Please stop joking.
They are democratic. I'm coming. They are democratic.
You force your way through.
They are democratic. They allow demonstrations. Ghana we are led by a human rights loving president. I don't know who know. You see, you can't. Subai is saying you can't hide it.
Okay, it's all right.
Then they come and meet soldiers and policemen and battles and things at Flagstaff House.
For nothing at all. For nothing at all.
If it were their country.
For nothing at all.
You are just sitting in your country and talking like that. But if it were their country, if we were going to South Africa, in Malema's country, and we went to go and do exactly what we were going to do, what would be the reaction of the authorities in South Africa?
Bow your head.
It's a question that you should ask.
If for nothing at all.
So that's why we need to move on.
Yes, just a quick one. If for nothing at all, I think the Minister of Interior should have met them.
Okay.
If for nothing at all.
All right, so that's an advice. So there is Abdul Basit on Facebook who says that greetings to Honorable Hajia Fatima to Abubakar and all the panel. Okay, greetings to you, Basit. Thank you for your message. Ni, what are you talking about? Please stop the comparing of apples and oranges. Stop the usual attack on the president and speak to the issues on the table. Under NDC, we have witnessed many of the things you are talking about. That is not to say it is a good thing. And that is a message from Elisha, Evans. Evans, thank you for your message for me. He has heard you live and colored. Okay, so there is Abdul again who says that, okay, so it's Mr. Jantua. So he says, Mr. Jantua, they apologized and the new force thing must be banned once and simple. Okay, so that's Basit's message. Not too clear for me. There's another message from Dankwa who says that, please, Wilberforce, I wanted one of the lawyers in the studio to educate me about my earlier message. But as usual, Nick Papo decided to spin around it. Please, can a foreigner be a spokesperson for any political party or a movement in Ghana? The answer is no, Maxwell. It's completely no. The answer is no. No. Okay, so let's move on. And the next two topics that we are talking about the declining inflation and its impact that it's having on the economy. We know as of today that there is an agreement between the foreign creditors, which is paving the way for Ghana to continue with these activities and negotiations with the International Monetary Fund. I'll come to you, Hajia, to start with this. So let's talk about the issues of declining inflation and also the impact it's having in the country, and then also dovetail it with the issues of IMF and what have you. And then we would also make mention of power. In fact, we are mixing the two issues together, all of them. Mm-hmm. So declining inflation, the IMF circumstances and situation as we speak, and also issues of power, energy, which are all economic issues intertwined with each other. Hajia.
Okay, Wilberforce, thank you. To start with, let me say, if Ghanaians will recall, we had a very difficult 2022. Of course, because of COVID-19, we had a very difficult 2020 and a difficult 2021. But nothing prepared us for what we were going to see in 2022, because that is when the increase in fuel prices, the currency depreciation, and all the other issues, the rise in inflation happened. And barely a year and a half or a year down the line, because we just started 2024, it is interesting to note that the inflation that had reached 54% is now a little over 23%. So we are saying that in less than 12 months.
Is it 23 or 22?
No, 23. Yeah, for
Yeah,
December.
23.
Yes.
So it was
Yes.
26 and it came to 23.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So we are saying that in less than 12 months, our inflation has dropped for over 30%. Over 30% in less than 12 months.
Is that true?
Oh, just finish. I'll come in.
These are facts. I'm not even asking whether it's true, but these are facts. Because
I just wanted to confirm from
Yes.
you whether he
But the
agrees.
dollar is at what? 12 point what? So we'll come to
I
it.
think text as at Wednesday it was a little over 11 cedis, but of course, yes, yes. No, I'm saying you are talking about. Of course,
Okay, you don't-
we are.
let's-
There are interbank rates, and of course there is what you get on the market, but that is not to say the difference is huge. So if you are talking about 12 cedis for what you change, and I am saying that on the fintech platforms for us at Wednesday it was a little over 11 cedis. We are both not far off. So let's not even belabor that point. But Wilberforce,
Yes.
the point that I'm raising is that it is significant to note that when government promised Ghanaians that we know how to bring the economy back on track and we know the solutions that we can get in the short and medium term for economic stability, they knew what they were talking about. Because if we have inflation dropping over 30% in less than 12 months, it is no mean feat. It should tell you that we shouldn't be surprised if in the first quarter of 2024 we are getting to the teens and even getting better to a desired inflation levels. I am giving this context because it is important to remind Ghanaians that in the most difficult times, we were told that there will be shortage of fuel at the pumps, that medicines will run out at the pharmacies, that the chaos that we were prepared to face, even Sri Lanka is better. We were told that salaries will not be paid. The government has run out of money to pay salaries. It has taken a lot of hard work to get us to turn the corner the way we have done. Don't let Nia and his people deceive you that we have not turned the corner. Because as an ordinary Ghanaian who goes to the market every day, I am.
Hold on.
I can tell you for a fact that the kind of stability that we have seen with our currency, with fuel prices, and everything have not come it's not come by chance. A lot of work is being done behind the scene. That being said, we gave a plan. We are sticking to the plan, as you mentioned. By the grace of God, there's been an agreement reached between the government of Ghana through the finance ministry and our creditors under G20. They've also acknowledged. In fact, we are getting cooperation because we successfully executed the domestic debt exchange program and the financial or fiscal discipline that is required for us to get the economy back on track, starting from stability and recovery to economic growth. It's happening. That being said, why are we talking about this whole economic issue and all that? Is because a few days ago we experienced power outages. And also because in the past month there was also like a few days again that we experienced that. So what the NDC has decided to go to town with is to inform Ghanaians that Dumsor is back and that we don't have electricity and government has run out of money to pay the IPPs and WAPCO and all that, and because of that Dumsor is back. And Wilberforce, they have thrown dust into the eyes of Ghanaians without giving any context and without being honest about the fact that Dumsor is not back. What? No. He says we should add the economy and energy because of time. So whichever angle you choose to go with your conversation. But of course, I also reserve the right to have the conversation based on what I think is important to Ghanaians in the moment. And I am saying that Dumsor is not back one. Of course, I have to recognize that there was some debt that government of Ghana was owing to WAPCO to the tune of $19 million, which they had sat and made an arrangement for payment, which the first time in December that they withdrew their services. Government paid $3 million and immediately they restored service. But apparently there was also the issue that what was paid was inadequate according to WAPCO. So last Wednesday, which was that should be 10th or 11th, they withdrew their services again. And as I speak to you, as at yesterday, Friday, 12 January 2024, the Ministry of Energy and the Ministry of Finance had made the necessary arrangements for the additional funds that were delayed to be paid or made available. $10 million. Yes. So as at now, out of the 19 million, 13 million has been paid. And within 2 days, they were able to make the necessary arrangements and ensure that the services of WAPCO has been resolved. So we are saying that there are so many reasons leading to power outages. It can be faulty transformers. It can be so many things. It can be because the Ministry of Energy also announced Doom CSC, which I will come back to. And it can also be because of this commercial agreement, which in the short term, of course, they pull the plugs to share government and get their money back, which has been honored substantially. So when the Energy Ministry, through Honorable Andrew Mensah, granted interviews yesterday to say that, you know what, this is not doomso. When we talk about doomso, we were talking about a long-term transmission and distribution challenge faced under former President John Dramani Mahama for over 4 years, which led to 24 hours out of power. You get a window of 8 hours power just to charge your phones. And everybody was on generator in this country. Everybody, from welders to hairdressers to salons to cold stores. That is not what is happening in Ghana. And we should be honest for once, not to mislead the populace of what is happening. Gridco had come out to talk about the financial challenges with the gas supply. It was immediately ratified within 24 hours when the initial financial commitments were made in December. Quickly, within 24 hours, the services were restored, and for a long period, we did not experience any power outage until the plugs were pulled again last Wednesday. And I'm saying within the 48 hours, the services were restored because $10 million were paid. That being said, Wilberforce, let me give the audience some insight into the power value chain that we have in Ghana and the subsequent challenges in the sector which leads to, power outage here or there over the period. But substantially, if people are going to talk about President Akufo-Addo's legacy, Doomso will not be one of them. He has given us more power than any NDC government under the Fourth Republic. And I say this on record because even if you want to talk about NDC 1, in terms of coverage, they did not have the kind of extended coverage we have today. That is a fact. Number two, in terms of consistent power supply, this government has done better than the NDC record, whichever way they want to tout it. But I'm saying that if you look at the power sector and the power value chain, of course, we have the generation side between Volta River Authority for the Akosombo Dam, between the Bui Power Authority and other IPPs, which we have the Asoglis, the Ticos, the Ameris, the Car Powers, the other solar supplies that have come in Kalio and also in Laura over the years. Then we have the transmission side, which has to do with the work that Gridco does with developing and building transmission lines and making sure they have capacity not to lose the power but transmit to the various bulk supply points and power distribution stations and maintenance of those facilities. Then we have the distribution between Electricity Company of Ghana for the southern sector and NEDCO for the northern sector. What has been the challenge? Whatever is generated is transmitted, and those transmissions that are successful are distributed through these two institutions. And they in turn have to do collection of what has been consumed by the public back into the coffer so that they can solve every payment challenge or do financial distribution to all the key stakeholders within the value chain from generation to distribution. Over the years, from subsequent ECG CEOs, from subsequent stakeholders who have occupied key positions within the power sector, have come out to say that payments, stealing power, illegal connections, a lot of challenges with payments, some internal doings, as has been alluded in the past, I think by Sam George and some other people who claimed they had some first-hand information about some people internally. Yes, I saw it. I've seen the screenshot somewhere of some dealings which is stopping the ECG and other institutions from realizing adequate funds to resource the power generators and other stakeholders within the sector. As a result, when we get the power and we use and we don't pay for it, the implications are two. It is either we are asking government to go and look for a loan to pay for the power that we have used, or we are asking government to use the taxes that have been mobilized for social infrastructure and other development agendas to pay for the electricities that we have consumed. So anytime, if you are a mosque, if you are a church, if you are in a private residence, if you are a factory, if you are a hotel, and you are stealing power, you do not have any moral right to ask what the taxes are used for. Because where you fail to pay for the power, the Ministry of Finance or government through the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Energy must find the money from central government and pay for what you have stolen. The power that you have stolen. And that being said, we have tried over the period to make sure other transmission losses that are not as a result of stealing from some members of the public are resolved. That is why the Millennium Challenge account, MIDA Compact 2, which was the Energy Compact, the infrastructure components committed over $300 million to resolve energy challenges in terms of transition, in terms of transmission. As a result, if you are aware, as part of that $308 million, they had to start rewiring 8 markets in Accra and 2 markets in Tamale, the central markets. In all, rewiring 10 markets in the country. They had to change transmission lines through GridCo. They had to build additional 3 bulk supply points. If you have been to Kwabenya, you will see what I'm talking about. If you've been to Accra Central, the most recent one commissioned by the President of the Republic and the Energy Minister, if you've been to Kaswa, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. And we are talking about systems that had broken down, that were not fixed, that were not resolved, that were not added on until President Akufo-Addo's administration. So a lot of commitment has been made by government to cut transmission losses as a result of faulty or old infrastructure, and to make sure as members of the public we also do our bit in paying for the power that we have used from ECG. We know that when ECG started this collection campaign, we saw hotels in Aburi, we saw factories, we saw a lot of companies that were using illegal means to steal power from the states. How do we keep the lights on if we are not paying for it? How do we keep the lights on when we recognize that the government has economic challenges due to global events? The government is resolving the economic challenges. We need infrastructure, we need social amenities, we need social support programs for the vulnerable people. But on top of that, even people doing business for the purpose of making profits will not pay for the electricity they consume. So as I said, now government, through the Ministry of Energy, has successfully made available all the funds, or substantially, I'm talking about $30 million out of $90 million. And within 48 hours, WAPCO had restored their services as at yesterday, Friday, 12 January 2024. And the issues have been permanently resolved. There are measures to resolve the, to pay the remaining $6 million, but because of the substantial amount that has been paid, we have the highest assurances from Honorable Andrew Mensah per his interviews yesterday that the issues have been resolved. So this is not doomsday. This is a disagreement over some delays of a commercial transaction. Ghana does not have a generation problem. We've said this since 2012, since 2011. We've mentioned that Ghana has no generation problems. Even before American Car Power, that was our position. And you can pull videos from back in the day of Fred Owari and all the key people that were speaking for the NPP in opposition and in government, that we do not have generation problems. If there are financial problems, government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Energy and Ministry of Finance, have made the substantial commitment to make sure WAPCO is working. Other ancillary or stakeholder organizations providing gas or any support to the energy, the power sector, so that they will be able to run the systems and keep the lights on. They are doing that. The Minister for Energy, at some point, as I mentioned, with this Compact 2 in 2021, the Energy Compact, mentioned that when they are changing lines, they cannot keep the lights on and risk some incidents. So if there are isolated incidents of power outages because of faulty transformers, or because there is an announcement that the ministry is changing some transmission lines anyway, we cannot attribute that to DUMSO. But I'm saying this temporary challenge that we've had a day in 2023 December, as announced by Gridco and subsequently resolved, and 2 days in 2024 from last Wednesday to Friday, have all been resolved.
I think it was Wednesday and Thursday.
Yes, so okay. On Friday, WAPCO restored their services and the issue has since been resolved.
I suffered light off in the house on Wednesday night and Thursday night, but subsequently Friday night and at least Saturday, I have my lights on. It didn't go off like it went off Wednesday evening and Thursday evening. So perhaps the point you are making supports the reality on the ground. As far as my area is concerned, I don't know about your area. You can send us your information if the story is different from your area. I'm coming to there's Evans who says that did these invited people inform government that they were coming to Ghana? That's a question that Evans is asking. He continues to say that, please, Ghana is bigger than any individual from anywhere. Maxwell, okay, I've done Maxwell. So Mango says that, why will the leader of so-called convention unmask himself after the cancellation of the program? Did the government fail to due diligence, maybe to do due diligence on people behind it? Why bring in foreign activists? And that's a question that Mangos is asking. There's Baba who says that nobody can stop me from going to Honorable Fati's house unannounced. But if Madam Fati decides not to open her house to you, you do not go about maligning her. Did you hear the advice? Okay, you didn't hear the advice. The media should do a nationwide survey, and that's from Mangos. And again, Mangos says the media should do a nationwide survey on DUMSO, whether it is countrywide as against what happened under the previous regime. I remember the devastating impact it brought to businesses under JM. If you live in a glass house, you don't throw a stone. As for this one Ghanaian, I think it says one. So it says, I'm sure he wants to say that, as for this, Ghanaians have long memories. But he added something that which was confusing me. So that's Mangos. Thank you for your message. And then, yes, so that would be it, because Basit has already sent these messages. Yes. So matters of electricity, matters of inflation, it appears the economy is on a highway to recovery. Is that what you also see?
The matrix. When you say something is on the way to recovery, you must have a certain context in which you are speaking. What is the slum? So let's look at it. Let me start with electricity, because I was telling you I'm a VRA boy. My father was director in VRA. He actually was part of the people that put together the Bond Dam. So it brings me fond memories. When you talk about electricity, I lived the VRA.
The VRA life.
The VRA life.
Yes.
At some point, I even when I finished.
Did VRA pay your school fees?
No, VRA didn't pay my school fees. But of course, if they paid my father, but then indirectly, VRA paid my school fees. And at some point, I worked briefly at as a public part of the public relations department. So I was a tour guide at the.
Okay, Nia, I hear your voice should go up a bit.
Akosombo. So it was fun. I mean, whenever you talk about electricity generation, you bring back very fond memories of VRA. You know, Ghana's electricity challenges, I can tell you, is something that VRA, when it was the only company that did all the three things that Fatih described, the electricity structure in our country is basically, as she said, three parts: generation, transmission, distribution. VRA used to do two, which was generation and transmission, and then ECG was doing, for the southern sector, was doing the distribution until VRA set up NEDCO, and then they took over. And then, as part of the evolution and to make it more efficient. And so when she's talking about those things, those are things that bring very fond memories, because my father was part of the evolution, you know, took part in the restructuring, the distribution. They then came to power purchase, you know, and then they came to thermal when they started. So we used to only do hydro, and then they realized that, you know, at some point Ghanaia's economy was growing. So VRA has a template for what it needs, or what the energy needs of Ghana probably over the next 100 years. They have the template there. They have templates on where possible hydro dams could be done in Ghana. This was way back in the 60s. They've always had that. The issue has always been financing. That had been the biggest problem and challenge of VRA. There had been internal debates about whether to break them up or not to break them up and all those things. But the biggest issue for Ghana's power sector has always been financing. Because if VRA, as then was the only unit for generation and distribution, had been given the funding they wanted, they probably would have, if Ghana was aggressively looking at our energy sector and deciding that we were going to tackle all the potential hydro points that we had, we wouldn't even have a generation problem, you know, which hit us the way.
What are some of the potentials we have apart from?
We have. There are a lot.
Okay, they are doing the Pualugu Dam.
Pualugu. Yes. There are a lot. There are a number of just for hydro.
They are not doing Pualugu Dam. They haven't identified or located the money.
The sites are there.
That's about $1 billion they're looking for that particular project.
If you go to the office of the chief executive today of VRA, you ask him to give you the drawings. They have everything. The only thing left is money. That's the only problem they have, money. You understand? Now that they've gone thermal, you understand? And thermal is both what? It's both gas and crude.
Combined cycle.
The combined cycle.
And steam.
I've forgotten that there's an energy expert
and
here.
Steam. You understand? And steam. You know, and when you look at all that, Ghana's potential to still be the net exporter for West Africa is there. But we need to take out the politics. It is the politicization that is what is killing us. You see, because the NDC met a challenge, which unfortunately led to a very unstable period with the issue of Dumso. We give the reasons. The West Africa pipeline having an issue. But hey, nobody, once you are sitting in the heat and nobody wants to talk. So it is a very touchy issue when it comes to electricity politics in Ghana. No, and that's the thing I give NPP credit for. The fact that they learned the lesson the NDC didn't learn. They have vowed that rain or shine, to be tagged Dumso, to have the kind of Dumso that the NDC had, because they know, just you let this country have the kind of Dumso the NDC had for 6 months. I'm telling you, the people will, there will be, it's not, the election in 2024 will not even be, it will not even be 20, 50, 50. It will not have to do with the economy. The MPP will lose the elections hands down just on the issue of Dumso. We have politicized the issue of Dumso to the point that a sitting government knows that it is a death sentence if it allows uninterrupted, or if it allows power
to be interrupted for a period of time,
for even 5 days. So I must give them credit that they have vowed that whether they will go under the sea, they will go to the moon to look for money to ensure that they don't suffer what we suffered, they will do it. You see, we, the NDC government, did what, and as President Mama said, he said he will solve that. So we ramped up the issue of generation. So they will not complain about a generation problem. They can't be at any given time. Ghana would always, at this moment, have excess capacity because we have excess capacity. We really have more, and that's the thing. But the problem for the MPP, and I think that's why I want to take out the politics, because if I want to debate on a political this thing, they have no history when it comes to power generation. Anybody, any NPP,
and don't debate it.
That's what I'm coming. See, I want to avoid it. I wanted to. I was sitting down. I was sitting down, and I was actually laughing when I heard it, because clearly she was speaking from notes. Anyone who knows the history of electricity generation in this country, you won't even dream about having a debate with the NDC government when it comes to an NDC government about power distribution in Ghana.
Haja, is that a position?
Your government
doesn't have to.
I'm coming.
It is ridiculous.
I'm coming. Listen, it was the NDC era, PNDC, NDC, that led the distribution of electricity in terms of penetration across Ghana. When it comes to the upper part of this country, unless you don't know, I lived the history. When it comes to the issue of why, before the PNDC era, what was the penetration of electricity in this country? There was a decision, a cabinet decision by President Rawlings. At that time, the people who were involved, Mr. Kalichi, I'll give you the names of the people that were involved in the movement of moving electricity from Mr. Kwame Ahoy, the Ahoy brothers. Because at that time, one of them was the secretary for energy. The other was on the board of VRE. There was a team that was put in place, Kwame Pepra, that actually led the distribution of electricity from the southern sector to the northern sector. That one was, and it was called the Rural Electrification Project. We had the self-help project. I lived that thing, so I don't have a debate with you on that particular one, because I lived the process where we took it. The electricity was taken from village to village. If the village could assist, they raised some money. The government would top it up. So they moved electricity penetration up to a point, and then the NDC government came. So when you talk about PNDC, NDC, in terms of electricity, at the time the NDC left power, what was the percentage? What was the coverage percentage? When you came in, what was the coverage percentage you came to add? It's not possible for you to come and tell that you want to debate an NDC government as to electricity coverage when it comes to spreading or
even on generation.
On generation. You can't have a debate. The point is, let's take out the politics. What we must do is let's take out the politics and let's debate how we can improve our system in terms of making sure that we have a commitment. And you see, that's where I admire the MPP again for their boldness to tax. Because the point must be made, and I keep making that point in this studio, that Ghana as a country must come to the point where we make a decision that, look, the only way we can develop our country is either through loans, through grants, or through taxes. So we have to come to the point and make a clear determination that, but our problem has always been corruption.
But people should be able to make comparable salaries for you to be able to tax.
But the point is,
you just don't tax like that.
The thing is, the MPP has taken the bull by the horns. If you look at most of the taxes that traditionally governments say or governments have dreaded to do, they have gone ahead.
But it's making the people poorer.
The point is this. The point,
That's the challenge.
Mr. Jantua, all developed countries, they tax. There is no country that has developed anywhere that does not tax the citizens.
So is it time?
You see salaries going up. You see salaries going up.
Are you suggesting that it is time for us to depoliticize taxation?
Exactly. It is time for us to depoliticize taxation because it is militating against our development as a country. I have serious debates with my friends in the NDC about the fact that
you might be able to pay.
It's not that person. It's not about the ability.
Mr. Joshua, are there not levels? Mr. Joshua, are there not levels of taxation? People, depending on your level in society.
I'm talking about the general taxation they put on things.
No, Mr.
VAT is one of them.
Mr. Joshua,
he might be able to pay that VAT we're talking about.
No. Mr. Joshua, listen.
Is what you call it.
Mr. Joshua, we must improve our governance systems and hold our governments accountable.
So let's improve it.
Hold on. You see, it's a dual debate. We cannot develop Ghana. Look, at the point where we have 98 to 99% tax overrun, budget deficit overrun. There is no fiscal space. The government has a taste.
Who caused them?
I'm saying, look, whether it is the NDC or the MPP, if the NDC should come to power today, we have to face a stark reality. We've come to a juncture in our country's development when we need to depoliticize certain things. One of it is the issue of taxes. If we
Revenue
don't
to GDP ratio.
It's not
Currently
just there.
in Ghana,
It's
as compared to
110%.
the West African region, as we are speaking, we are being told that revenue to GDP ratio, Ghana is about 13 or so percent, and our countries around us are doing 19, some are 18, some are 20.
Why are
and
they,
the ECOWAS,
why are they,
the AU standard is at least 20%.
Let me ask you,
Yes.
why are they doing the kind of figures they are doing compared to when you look at the business and even the employment rates?
So ours is largely informal.
Listen, no, it's not just
Yes.
informal. Listen, Uncle Jantua, the problem we have is the Ghanaian citizen does not see his taxes being used for profitable purposes.
It's all part and parcel of it.
It's a part. You see, the reason why a lot of people feel reluctant to even pay their taxes is the fact that we don't see the development of our roads. We don't see the development of our schools. We don't see the development of our hospitals.
So it's a government issue.
It is so. It is that is
The
why
governance issue.
That is why
Let's
we need.
let's fix
Uncle
that.
Jantua, that is why we need to depoliticize certain aspects of our national conversation. And I've been calling for an economic summit on this because if we want to transform our economy, we need the financing. And the financing will not come from the sky. The financing will have to come from taxes. So when we depoliticize the issue of, for example, taxes, then the two parties can have a conversation and say, you know what? When it comes to our energy sector, for example, when it comes to our road sector, for example, we are making a commitment that we are going to, for example, dedicated taxes for the purposes of revolutionizing these sectors.
We
Like
have
we did for
dedicated
GetFund.
taxes. Let me give you an example. We have dedicated taxes. Street lighting. Do we not pay for street lighting?
Where is the money going?
So
what
that
I'm
is
saying
the
that
question.
when we are depoliticizing,
You can have a
so they
dedicated
utilize-
tax,
listen,
but where is the money going?
Jantua,
What are they using it for?
I keep using the construction of the George Walker Bush Highway as an example. What was the model the Americans used for us?
Pay direct.
Pay directly to the contractors.
We are talking here.
And
Our
I'm saying
GOG
that-
money.
And I'm saying that
Our GOG money.
I'm saying that if the two parties, the two major parties, or the major players in the economy will come to a conclusion that Ghana's biggest problem is one, corruption. We do not utilize, there's not optimal use of our national resources. And we want to change the conversation. We
Are
want
you
to say
trying
that,
to tell me, Ni, that the NDC don't know that?
I'm saying
Are you
that-
trying to tell me
but
that
yes,
the
but
MPP don't know
because-
that?
but so-
Are you trying to tell me that the CPP don't know that? We all know that, but we are masking.
Yes, and so
We are
you see-
masking,
you see, who
which
suffers?
doesn't help.
It is the Ghanaian citizen that suffers. So you have a situation where our roads are so bad that the number of lives we lose on some of our roads is pathetic.
Do we care?
How many people can afford?
Do
air-
governments
air
care?
flights?
Do governments
The
care?
politician can afford to take a flight to Kumasi, but the ordinary Ghanaian will have to do the road. It is about time we depoliticize some of these things and tell ourselves that, look, we will do a road fund like we did for the Get Fund, but this road fund, we will dedicate it, we will give it to a bank. The contractors are going to be Ghanaian. When you raise your certificate, don't pass it to any, go straight. Once the certificate is vetted, you are assured of payment within 3 or 4 days.
Let me give you an example.
I'm coming.
Let me give you an
I'm
example.
coming. You see?
Let me give you an example.
Uncle
Janet.
Janet,
I'm just trying to manage the time
Yes,
so
let
that
me
I can
finish,
come to
so
you.
that you can come because
Yes.
you've interrupted my
Yes.
flow completely. Every other minute you've interrupted me.
Because of some of the things you are saying that I don't see it.
No, you see, the
It's
point
not
is-
a
but
question-
when you-
it's not
when-
a
when I
question-
come to
it's
you-
not a question of putting the
No.
tax.
It's
It's a
Mr.
question
When I
of
come
making
to you,
sure
you
that
can-
you're governing well.
Yes, Mr. Jackson, when I come to you, if you
is-
jot them down, you can
you
make
see,
those
Uncle
interventions.
Jantua,
Yes.
If we don't depoliticize these things and come to the conclusion that's why I said I admire the MPP for their boldness to tax. I wouldn't have dreamt that the Ghanaian government would be able to tax electricity bill. And
Above the.
and whatever it
Yes.
was, I never for once thought that a Ghanaian government would go in that direction.
But I'm told it's been suspended.
Which one?
The proposed VAT on those who are consuming
That's an
electricity
IMF
above the
condition.
lifeline.
Yes, I'm telling you
That's
that
an IMF
For
condition.
households, no.
For households,
No, see,
but they were
residential.
for the
Whatever
commercial
it was,
who
you
were
see.
consuming above
Yes.
a certain threshold.
Yes. They are
If
so
in Ghana, listen, I'm saying that in Ghana here, if the NDC was in power, the MPP would be on the streets. if we had introduced a tax on VAT tax on utilities, they would be on the streets. But it's about time we had the discussion as citizens and as parties that look, we need to transform our economy. And it's not about verbal transformation. It's about a physical transformation of our economy. We need the money. We are not going to be able to develop our country with grants and with loans, with all these conditions. We need to tax our way in doing some of these things. And the only thing we can be able to do is to cut down the corruption. It's the corruption, the 10% that somebody wants before he will give you a contract. The fact that we have to double the prices in our contracts. Those are the things that are militating against our ability to optimally use our national resources properly. So if we are going to put in the measures, and I keep making the example of the road sector, we are going to adopt the American model of delivering a road at zero corruption, where the contractor knows that he is going to be able to be paid directly. And so he doesn't have to rely on his friendship with the minister of roads to be able to get his money. He will make sure that the road is done well. We have the construction firms, First Sky and others. They have the capacity, the local capacity to be able to deliver. It is about the corruption. It's about the fact that when the contractor finishes his work, he's not guaranteed the fact that he will be paid. But if we have the taxes, and we are taking taxes from Ghanaians, and we are saying that we will dualize the Accra, one of my biggest headaches is the Accra-Takoradi road. And the lives we lose on that road, needlessly, because we don't dualize it. We have a road fund. We have an energy sector fund. Taxes dedicated towards the transformation of our energy sector. Imagine the kind of things we'll be able to do within 4 years or 8 years, where we decide that these taxes are going to be utilized in a manner that we will not allow the politicians to have any hand in it. Ghana will not be the same within 8 years.
I don't know whether you should limit it to just the politicians, because there are civil servants who are in the mix, who are probably even causing more trouble than the politicians.
They are the ones who lead the politicians. The thing is this: if we have the systems, you understand, the systems, and you see, it's about systems. The ability to say that, look, as for this road fund, we would ensure that it is run in such a way that it can. And I ask myself, how were the Americans able to do it with the road?
It was their money.
Aha!
They wanted control of their money.
Thank you.
The Millennium Challenge. I am told that the Tema interchange, the Tema 1, sponsored by JICA, the Japanese government, also went through virtually the same process as
it is possible, because if you look, if the Ghanaian contractor knows, it is the endemic problem is corruption.
Okay. So Ni is finished with his submission. I'm coming to Mr. Jantua. Mr. Jantua,
it's not only the corruption.
Let me read these messages, then I'll come to you. So Abdul Basit Mahama says that the deputy minister should know that it is true that inflation has dropped from 54% to 23%. But that doesn't mean it has dropped by 30%, as she put it. It's actually an 11% drop, but a 30-point reduction. The percentage drop is mathematical, and is the initial minus the current divided by the initial multiplied by 100. Hey, this is complicated. Okay, so Mahama from Ashama. Mahama, thank you for your message as usual. Very, very interesting messages come from you, and contributions come from Basit Mahama. No, one more message, and then
this too, because I didn't address the issue of the economy. You see.
You've spoken for long.
I have something, but I want to answer.
Yes. Once he finishes, then yes. In fact, today you have the last word.
When it comes to the issue of the economy, my friends in the MPP should be not very quick to point to the issue of inflation, because the kind of, and I quote Dr. Baumia, who says that nobody should be given credit for a problem that they have caused or they have set up. So we, the NDC, should not be given credit for claiming that we do so. How do we give them credit for the economic mess that they have created? When they came to power, what was the CDC? The thing is about your purchasing power. Is the fact that how much can you buy with the same amount of money yesterday as you are today? That is the measure of how your income, your purchasing power has deteriorated or improved. So if in 2016 you were buying the CD to dollar was 4 cedis to $1, and today it is 12 cedis to $1. Do you know the impact? It means hold on. It means that when in 2016 what you could buy. What was the price of fuel in 2016? Today, what is the price of fuel? Let's look at the basic items. What is the price of milk? What is the price of sugar? What is the price of tomatoes? Look at those things. Look at your purchasing power. What could you buy in 2016 with the same amount? Because salaries haven't quadrupled. It is not as if in our economy, when the inflation goes up, or when your currency is devaluing, your purchasing power or your salaries are being increased. That is not the measure of increase. So that, for example, if the income, the real income of Ghanaians is such that when the cedi is at 5 cedis to the dollar, your salary increase is also increased or indexed to that, so that you'll be able to purchase your basics. When your cedi is devaluing, your purchasing power is also going down. It is not as if your salary is going up. So, Madam Minister, when you come and tell us that inflation has gone down from 50% to 36%, or from 36%, what is the impact on our purchasing power?
Anyway, yes. But NI has also refused to mention that the depreciation of the cedi from one cedi 20 pesos to over 4 cedis resulted in almost a 400% increase, and he should have known better and stop doing this cedi politics.
What did you
if you are talking about
if
you are talking about purchasing power, I'm saying you also inherited the cedi at 1.2 cedis and sent it in excess of 4 cedi 20 pesos, which is almost about 4 times.
You are now in power.
So leave us to also resolve our problem going into the next election.
You are in power.
And you also failed to mention that government last year increased the salaries of public sector workers by 30%, something that had not been seen before. And as inflation drops, government is not. The basis of increasing the salary was due to inflation, and government is not going to reduce salaries because inflation has dropped.
Ghanaians that Dr. Bawumia took the cedi from at 4 cedis.
Why
Dr.
He's the
candidate of the NPP.
Tell them that Mahama took the cedi from 1 cedi 20 pesos to 4
cedi. It is Dr. Bawumia who is the head of the economic management.
So tell Ghanaians first where Mahama took the cedi from. Tell Ghanaians first where Mahama took the cedi from.
And our acclaimed economic whiskey took the cedi at 1 cedi at $1 to 4 cedis and has brought it to 1 cedi 12 cedis.
If it's been up by 3 times under him, it's been up by 4 times under Mahama. Tell Ghanaians that.
The Ghanaian worker that he has also been able to increase their salary equivalent from 1 cedi to 4 cedis when President Mahama left it, and he has also been able to increase it to where he has left the dollar to cedi.
All right, I'm coming to Mr. Jantwa, and then just before that, as much as government is commended for ensuring restoration of power, people appointed to positions with mouth-watering conditions of service and privileges aren't paid to sleep on the job and then spend many hours explaining why the avoidable happened. They cannot say that WAPCO didn't give us ultimatum and they knew the consequences of non-payment, yet they failed to be proactive. It would really be an easy job to be employed to explain problems. To make matters worse, the public is initially deceived by ECG and that the outages are attributed to some technical problems with feeders. Timely and honest communication to consuming public can lessen the inconvenience as far as these issues are concerned. So that's Mahama. Thank you, Mahama, for your message. Chum Daku says that Wilberforce, please point of information. The law of charging VAT of residential consumers of electricity was passed in 2013 under former President John Mahama. Please check. Okay, Chum, we will check on that. Is it true? Was it passed during your government? You check. Okay, Mr. Janswa, I don't know whether you are aware of this. Chum Daku wants us to check whether the law on charging VAT on residential consumers was passed under the Mahama regime in 2013. Okay, so yes, Deputy Minister responsible for information, keep the fire. That's according to one Abubakar, giving you all the accolades there, Madam Minister. Okay, so Ms. Jantwa.
When NI talks about looking at our governance system and clearing the corruption, it doesn't start from that bit. It starts from the intention of an individual wanting to come into the governance bit and the intention they come with. That is where it starts from. If you come in and your intention isn't to serve and to serve well, and your intention is to put money in your pocket, that is the situation we find ourselves in, and that is what now initiates the kind of corruption we have in this country.
Okay, yes, your substantive.
Let me start with inflation. So I asked the question, what has created the lowering of inflation? What have been the components? Is there demand in terms of imports? Is there demand on the dollar? These two, components are key in terms of looking at inflation. So it can drop. I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but are we saying the components that are making it drop, if those components are engaged, it will not rise again? But most importantly is the CPI. Most importantly is the CPI.
What do you mean by CPI?
The Consumer Price Index.
Okay.
Which gives you the different consumer items in terms of inflation. Has it dropped? Which is the highest of all? Is it not food?
Food inflation, yes.
And food inflation, how do people eat? Do they not buy? And if they don't have the wherewithal to buy, what happens? So let's stop masking. Oh, inflation has dropped. Oh, it's a good thing, inflation has dropped. But when you go to the nitty-gritties, people are still suffering. And for me,
the food inflation point, I'm sorry to interject, but the food inflation point, some people have said that it is so because of the taste of Ghanaians that they are not going down there and getting locally made food. They are looking at foreign foods, and so the imports and all those things are affecting the prices.
What did President Kufuor do? When President Kufuor wanted to change incandescent bulbs to the new LED bulbs, what did he do? What did he do? Are you trying to tell me a government cannot change the mindset of the people? That's what you're trying to tell me. The availability of raw local foods, which are not costly. What's the price of kenke today? What's the price of bread today? What's the price of water today? So don't blame it on the people, and don't blame it on the taste of people. If we haven't been able to move the mindset of the people from a certain position to another position, why blame them? And so for me, where inflation is concerned, it is still open season. Not until I see a rapid drop to what government figures are, 6-10%, I am still not happy where the inflation rate is. Because when you look at the CPI, they've talked about food, non-alcoholic beverages, they've talked about housing and utilities, they've talked about transportation, clothing, footwear, and all these things, especially on the transportation bit. Do you not think successive governments in this Fourth Republic, if they were able to have done a much stronger public transport system, we would not be in the situation we are in? MPP, NDC, Fourth Republic, where's our public transport system? Where is it?
I think the NDC tried introducing the rapid bus transit.
I don't care.
MPP introduced the
Wilberforce.
Wilberforce. And then there was Ayalolo.
Wilberforce.
Yes.
They introduced it. Was this sustained? When previous governments came in, has it been sustained? And that is the situation we are dealing with. Those major highlights with regards to our economy, have we been able to sustain it? Transportation being one of them, food being another one of them, non-alcoholic beverages where we add value to some of the producers that we have that could bring prices down. But even most importantly, cost of production in this country. Have you been able to look at cost of production? Because cost of production is high. Once you're able to add value, you need to look at cost of production and what is creating that high cost of production. Have you been able to do it? And so any taint, any move in the economy changes the dynamics, which doesn't help us. It has to stop. Let me go to energy. Now, what are we talking about? Look, for me, where energy is concerned, the most important thing are the under discovery, the under recoveries. ECG is not making enough money on the cash waterfall because this particular issue that came up with the Dumsor. And for me, look, for what we went through in the NDC regime, where Ghanaians are, they don't care whether the light has gone off one day, it's gone off 2 hours, it's gone off 3 days, it's gone off half a day. So far as the light goes off, without you telling me a reason why, so far as they are concerned, is Dumsor. You run away. So that psyche that is in our mind with that 4 years Dumsor, Ghanaians would not entertain one day lights going off. They won't entertain it. That is why it is so important, and unfortunately the MPP hasn't been able to be successful on that line. The most important thing is communication, immediate, for something that you know Ghanaians abhor. Immediate communication, and don't wait for it to happen before you now start talking. Don't wait. Tell us. So you've been able to pay WAPCO, huh? It's still left how much to pay?
So they said it's a total
6
of
million.
19, so 13 has
6
been
million.
paid, it's left with 6.
6
yes.
million. You pay WAPCO. What about the other generators you owe? What about the other generators? And I think one of the major challenges that created this, yes, it's been financed all through. And please, where I would agree with Ni is with regards, and I keep saying it, is regards to taking the politics out and having a national discussion. Because right now, the other generators, have we paid them? Where's the money going to come from? And don't you think this WAPCO thing, government knew about it? They should have told us from a certain point. The first time they heard WAPCO was going to do what they did, come and tell us. Ministry of Information, through government, come and tell us. Look, we are facing a certain situation with WAPCO. We owe them X, we owe them Y. We've been able to pay this. There could be likely brownouts. And if they are, we would make sure that we advise Ghanaians as to how it will happen. From the word go, everybody is aware. So if I go to market on Thursday and I know this is what government has said, I won't go to market on Thursday and come and put things in my fridge for it to rot. I'll hold on. Communication is key in these things because you are playing with people's lives. Have we been able to communicate effectively? No, we haven't. We haven't. And that doesn't help us. It doesn't help the Ghanaian. It doesn't help the business. It doesn't help anybody. So let's try and communicate better, especially where this particular issue of Dumsor is concerned. And please, let's stop playing the politics. And you people, you did it 4 years, and we did it 1 year. No, let's stop that kind of narration. And let's all come together and make sure we can handle this particular issue better. Because unfortunately, Wilberforce, we are not. We still owe some of the generation companies, don't we? Where is the narrative? What are they saying to us? And one of the major things I think created this imbalance is the delay in the second tranche of the IMF money coming in. It's one of the challenges. Because where is government going to find the money from? If they're not going to find the money from, what is coming in? When they know energy is key. Energy is key. No government, and he rightly said it, no government would want to go down the line we went. No government. But one thing I would also advise, please, 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 please. Government today, government coming in tomorrow. Renewable energy should be something we should promote and promote heavily. At the present moment, we should come together and see how we gradually move solar into residential, so that within a certain duration of time, a lot of residential homes would have solar panels. Let's put policy in place. And let's say, from this point on, any new building that is coming up should have a solar panel. Any new building. Give us 10 years. See what would happen. Because Dumso has started what? Throughout this Fourth Republic, all the presidents who have been in this Fourth Republic, with the culmination being Mohammed's time, we have faced Dumso. Everyone, every government has faced Dumso. What are we doing, especially with solar? We have glass sand here, don't we? We have silica here, don't we? We have components that we can use to build solar power. Why aren't we developing it? And so the discussion should not be a discussion where it is party discussion, it's political discussion. The discussion should be a national discussion. How do we increase our renewable energy space? Now, ECG, politicians, let's take politicians out of energy completely. It's a business. ECG is a business. And if we say we are even going to privatize, the politicians should be out. And how can the politicians be out? The politicians shouldn't scheme and put the company that they want there. It should be open, giving Ghanaians the first opportunity. Because I don't believe living in Ghana here we can't do it. We can do it.
I think the last attempt to introduce a private participation is it PDS?
PDS. And what was the machinations with PDS? Was there no politics inside? Look,
okay.
The politicians should be regulators. The politicians should oversee. But the business bit of ECG and collection should be left to the business of ECG. Should be left to the business, which is the northern one? NEDCO. Should be left to the business of Ghana Water. And so it should be a business that we are looking at, not politics. Because on our end here, the politics of this country is not helping the development of this country. And it is not helping us build the kind of nation that we are looking for. Because the personal interest and the corruption is stopping people who can handle that business side come up.
Indeed.
And if you're not part and parcel of a particular political party, and you even have the know-how to be able to do it, you are clouded out because you're not part and parcel of us, because there are people in there who are interested in their pockets.
Okay. Yes, a quick intervention.
Yes. Wilberforce, I had to hold my thought on a few things. I said, let me write it down so that I can bring you back on it. You know, we were, I think somewhere in the conversation, they were talking about rural electrification and power distribution. And since Uncle, since Uncle Jantua is here, I want to make an emphatic statement, and maybe he will either prove me wrong or reiterate it. In 2016, electricity access rate was 83.24%. In 2023, it was 88.85%, meaning we are talking about in excess of about 5.5%. The point that I was trying to make is that when it comes to the access rate or penetration, it is easier starting from the central districts and within bigger towns and cities than reaching the last mile. That is what. No, let me say that, because I don't want people to live with the impression as if, in terms of distribution, this government hasn't done much. So I am coming to the fact that if you look at the remaining communities that we have in the hinterlands, if it's a community of about 100 or even 200, the distance, the investment, and resources that is required to do the last miles are more intense than what it took to start like clustered areas or communities that are close by. That is the understanding that is the understanding that I got. And let's also not create the impression as if this government is not doing much about generation. Because look, Wilberforce, are you aware that if you go to Bui Dam today, they are almost done with the solar PVs for 100 megawatts? Are you aware?
Yes, I remember on
Yes,
one of the president's calls.
100.
In fact,
It's almost complete.
Yes.
I have videos and pictures. I'm not talking about aesthetics or what do they call it? Artistic impressions. So no.
And let me help you
On
there.
ground-
there's another one at Khalil.
Yes,
That's
Khalil.
Yes.
completed.
And that is the reason why.
And Laura,
and
that's
that-
also
and that's the
completed.
reason
And they
why-
are doing the Laura phase 2.
That's the reason why Ghana Energy Awards give them award for some of the things.
So, and apart from those ones, I hosted the energy minister just a few weeks ago,
press conference.
late November.
Yes.
Do you know that under the new PPA, they have signed 370 megawatts for AXA Tema and 350 megawatts for AXA Kumasi. And they are retrofitting the T3 to 132 megawatts. My earlier submission emphasized on transmission because I mentioned that, yes, we are industrializing. The GDP of Ghana is growing at a rate that people did not anticipate is happening. I have what even Western commentators say that the growth rate that they are seeing in West Africa is even better than what they saw in China in the 2000s. If you think I'm wrong, you can bring the contrary position on that. And because of the industrialization, because of the expansion and all the things that government is seeking to do, they are still adding on. Although even now we have excess capacity. But there is also the situation whereby we went to COP27, COP20 in Sharm el-Sheikh, we went to COP28 in Dubai and all that, and we have signed up to the systematic efforts that government will make towards energy transition. So maybe you may not be seeing like the building of Akosombo Dam as under President Nkrumah, or the initiative for the Bui Dam as at under President John Ajekwu Nkoufo. But this government is doing the solar energies, retrofitting some of the infrastructure that we have so that they can move to just crude from gas and crude and have that flexibility for us to switch when we have need for using other materials to generate energy. As we speak today, and as mentioned by the energy minister in November, are you aware that Ghana is seeking to add nuclear energy to our energy mix?
Yes.
And have started the initial stages and even invited vendors and negotiated as of November, not today, so that we can
getting the partner.
As the challenge, I'm part and parcel of this. I know what's going on.
So a lot. So if you go to the Ghana Atomic Energy, who paid a courtesy call on our ministry about a year ago, if you engage some of the stakeholders within the energy sector, I am doing LLM, which encompasses some aspect of international natural resources law and energy law in Europe. So I have been interested in reading more about the energy sector. So as Nee mentioned, not as Nee mentioned that if someone has written something for me that I have some notes to sit here.
Let me just quickly.
Okay.
Yes.
But I have some messages to read, and it will help shape the conversation. So there's Abubakar Yakubu who says that please ask a lawyer Nee Kpakpo to give me a single policy that they have drafted in opposition for almost 8 years that can move my heart this morning, because I'm listening to Asasi Radio because of him. So he goes on again to say, Abubakar, I agree with Lawyer Jantua. The communication of this administration is very, very poor. And then there is Nana Fredua Oforiata, who is somebody who should be a member of this panel going forward very soon.
He should.
So Nana,
he sent me a message. He said Nee's argument is better than mine.
Yes, Nana Fredua says that today Mr. Jantua has done us a great disfavor by not letting Nee flow on the tax proposal. It is a very important issue that requires angles from people like Nee to draw the necessary attention and debate. Or is it because Nee rightly recognized the good work of Akufo-Addo's government in this direction? That's Nana Fredua Oforiata there. So yes, so
come to your mic.
Come to the microphone.
I keep saying this, that there are things about the audacity of this government to do that my own party literally sometimes is afraid to do. When it comes to the issue of taxation, because it's unpopular. Taxes are unpopular.
But I think that Nana Fredua is talking about the aspect where you say that we should depoliticize
Exactly.
it. We should depoliticize
Because
revenue generation in
I'm
Ghana.
like, I keep asking myself that all of us are aware that the only way you can develop your country is through taxes. So if you are not prepared to tax, but the debate has been.
It's not only through taxes.
No, hold on. The thing is this.
It's not only through
The main revenue for any government is taxes. We must be able to conscientize our people that paying taxes is good. But the problem is when
How you use the taxes.
How you use the taxes. Somebody comes, look, the district assembly comes to paste on my gate property rate for last year. I look at the road in front of my house and I get angry. I'm like, you know what? I paid this money. The road that was supposed to be constructed was given to a politician to come and construct, and he abandoned it after collecting the money. I know that for a fact. He didn't do the road. So you get angry at some of these things. But if I see the road has been done, the gutters have been done,
The street lights have been done.
when you tell somebody to pay, he will pay.
Okay, so the argument well made. Yes.
Okay.
Honorable, yes.
So I am saying that we recognize the challenges within the energy sector. I think unanimously we all mentioned funding or recouping from customers the power that they have used. And this government is trying everything to keep the lights on, which is deserving of credit. Because we recognize that it's been a huge challenge.
Political suicide mission for
and
you.
all that we've been doing.
Hold on for
any
Hajia.
government.
Let's allow Hajia.
For any
You
government.
know,
Yes. Not only MPP, any government.
And this is what has contributed to economic development in this country, even in the face of COVID and Russia-Ukraine war. And finally,
Israel, Gaza.
It's also ongoing. You know, because we know all that is happening within the Red Sea.
The US people went
and
to
what's
bomb
happening in Yemen.
The US, yes, they went to bomb Yemen because the Yemen
US and the
people are
British.
threatening
US,
to cause
British,
economic
Australia,
challenges.
and Canada are the back.
They joined
so-
together to disarm them.
Block the Red
Yes.
Sea from
So-
ships
so
going.
a
And
lo-
if they
and-
blocked it, ships now have to go right around South Africa to Europe.
And they know the implication of what these challenges with international freight will have on every economy, not just Ghana. But would we even pause to credit President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and this administration for the additional revenue sources or streams that they have generated for this economy through tourism,
use it for,
which is generated?
Mm.
It is estimated that by 2025, which is next year, the contribution of tourism to the Ghanaian economy will rise to $5 billion per annum.
And we'll use it for
$5 billion ahead of cocoa.
What do we use the money for?
Ahead of cocoa.
What do you use the money
The
for?
money hasn't come in yet. He's making a projection
I
that
am
is going to come.
making a projection that after 30 December, Polo Club that was non-existent, employing people, making money, all these events that were thinking that, oh, Ghana is too small a country, let's go somewhere because we won't get the numbers, are stationed here to the extent that some of the events like Afro Nation, when they moved to Nigeria, what happened? They couldn't even organize it. And I'm hopeful that more and more and more people are coming to Ghana because of the deliberate campaign and advocacy and international tour to reach out to the African diaspora and other communities to come to Ghana. A lot have been done, not just, and when they come, they are not coming to meet the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum with bedbugs, but they are coming to meet an international state-of-the-art mausoleum for the first president of the Republic, which the CPP should really credit this government for.
But that was World Bank money.
They are coming to meet how much money didn't the NDC collect from the World Bank? Who thought of keeping the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum heritage? Not just that, we are talking about a national museum that was abandoned to the extent that it could not even raise 10,000 Ghana cedis a month. Go and look at our national museum. We are talking about.
But most importantly, the fact that you've been able to open that library at what do you call it?
The Kaukudi.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And a lot of them, over 100 libraries across the country.
The National Cathedral is under construction. It's under construction.
and
So,
we
Lawyer
allow
Joshua, there's a
them
message here for you. He says, please, when is the CPP hitting the ground running? When is the CPP hitting the ground for 2024?
I'm the special spokesperson.
Okay.
We are picking the nomination.
You always pick
nomination in this February.
So the Black Stars is playing in the AFCON. All of us have 20 seconds. Only 20 seconds. Me first. 20 seconds.
We are asking the what do you call it? The coach to be bold. Pick the correct players, because if you do well, it lifts the mood of the nation. We will put the politics aside. Imagine by next week we have won 2 of our matches. When we come, nobody will be interested. Look,
20 seconds is up.
We will not talk about
Mr.
politics.
Jantua, 20 seconds.
The
Black Stars.
The kind of formulation he puts on the field is the most important thing. Formulation. Put the right formulation on there, and the boys will work.
20 seconds. Hadia, you have 1 minute. I'm being biased. You have 1 minute.
Go Black Stars, go. Even if we are unable to make it to Cote d'Ivoire, we are definitely supporting. Yes, I would love to go. We are supporting the Black Stars. Our goodwill and our spirit and everything is with them. We will be posting and cheering them. We believe in the team. And when all hopes are lost, that is when the Black Stars surprise us. So I'm in for all the dribbles and the surprises. We, even if it's 1 goal project, I know we will not be eliminated at the group stages. We are going through
up to semi-final. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Get to semi-final.
Okay.
We are hoping for the trophy, definitely. So we are really wishing them well.
You know, after they flew to Ivory Coast in Kente,
yes,
that's a change. So maybe there's a change coming.
Where can I find that?
Oh, there are pictures. It's here on the
we are charged. Yes,
check the back page of one of the newspapers.
On Instagram.
One of the papers.
Nice
I think it's a Daily Guide or so.
Facebook.
It's there.
Tell me that.
Okay, so that has been our show, the forum for today. My guests who were on the show, the indefatigable Deputy Minister for Information, Hajia Fatimatu Abubakar. Thank you, Ni's very good friend. Thank you, Hajia, for coming. Mr. Kwame Jantua is a member of the CPP and a private legal practitioner. He's also an energy expert. And then Nick Papo Samoa Ado is a managing partner, Ado and Ado, and also a lecturer at the Gimpa Law Faculty. He was the first to come to the studio today. Let's emphasize
he didn't
that.
Drive in first.
So,
he drive in last.
The show has been produced by Emmanuel Ohiming, ably supported by Daniel. I'm unable to pronounce his surname. Is it Gadiglo? I think it's Gadiglo also, yes. So Daniel, thank you for all your good works. My name is Wilberforce Asari. Thank you very much for the privilege of your company.